From a simple seasonal tune-up or an air conditioner repair to the installation of a much more cost-efficient cooling system, Campbell's got the cool tools. Veteran-owned and managed, Campbell Heating and Cooling. Visit CampbellCooling.com.
Campbell Cooling uses all major name brands, including American Standard and Mitsubishi heating and cooling equipment. Let our expert technicians cool your home this summer.
A successful retirement doesn't just happen. It requires a plan that is custom built to suit everyone's individual financial situation. Every Saturday at 3, we share vital information on how to build and live a successful retirement. It's On the Money with Jay Dorso. Retirement strategies on building income and proper protection from the pitfalls and the latest news in the retirement universe. On the Money with Jay Dorso, 3 p.m. this Saturday on WTIC NewsTalk 1080.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Add some star-spangled style to your summer with Ashley's Stars and Stripes sale. Going on now. Shop Hot Buys for every room in your home. Now just $6.99. Plus, you can save up to $1,000.
Check 1, 2.
Don't
How you
miss
doing,
upgrading
sir?
your patio.
Sir.
They're 20% on select outdoor furniture.
All right.
Freedom to
We are ready for action.
with 0% interest until 2030 on in-store purchases made with your Ashley Advantage Synchrony credit card. Only at Ashley. Subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-885-9700. 800-885-9700. That's 800-885-9700.
Do you have 3 wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the Radio. Turn it up. Turn it up loud. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the Radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
You know, I said this, and I told you I have no problem with it because I have come to terms. But New York is a wrap. It's over, ladies and gentlemen. It's over. It is a complete and utter wrap in New York. and I was there, I told you, just burn it to the ground, because that's what they're going to do. That's what they intend to do. It is a lost cause. Connecticut, look closely. Now, look, I should be reveling in this. It's my hometown, born and raised there. I should be fighting for New York, but I knew I hated it when I lived there. I was one of the only New Yorkers in the beginning. I was hating it before it was fashionable. I was one of the first ones to say, can't stand the town. Everything about it is garbage. New Yorkers never stay, and people come in and they destroy it. They wreck it. They walk away from that wreckage after they've made their money and they move elsewhere. It's what they've always done. And New Yorkers never fought for their own city, never fought for it. And now a bunch of interlopers are turning New York City into something I can't recognize. Republicans, conservatives, libertarians in Connecticut, if you don't act now, you are going to become what New York City is about to become if they don't save it. I'm no longer calling it New York. My wife and I were getting ready for bed yesterday, and I said, I can't call it New York anymore. I'm done with calling it that. I think it deserves a new name, a better name that represents what it is, and I've come up with it. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present to you, as a part of the new tri-state area, the Islamic Republic of New Palestine. That's what it is. That's what it is. Mamdani and Mahmoud Khalil, they are the new leaders of New York. Or, I apologize, the Islamic Republic of New Palestine. That's what it is. That's what it is. What is it? Columbia University, NYU. The elites have taken over. Pro-Palestinian, anti-Jew, Mahmoud Khalil, and Zohar Mamdani. That's the new Islamic Republic of New Palestine. A socialist dream come true. $30 minimum wage. Public housing. Well, that's what it is. It's public housing. Taxes through the roof. It's over. Do you understand that you guys are witnessing the demise of a great and powerful city? It's about to be bedlam. And do you know what's going to, your only hope to save it? The only hope to save New York City relies on Eric Adams and a Republican who wears a raspberry beret. You know, the kind you find at a secondhand store? A raspberry beret. And if it was warm, he wouldn't wear much more. That's who's saving, that's your last hope for the Islamic Republic of New Palestine. That's it. Other than that, it's being handed over to the likes of Mamdani and supporters of Mahmoud Khalil and the radical fundamentalists who were storming the streets wearing keffiyehs saying down with Zionists. The wealthy are going to be pushed out, and if they stay, they're going to be taxed to the hilt. They're going to be made to pay for this socialist utopia that radicals are, they're applauding it. They're raving about it. Listen to this applause. They beat Andrew Cuomo, of all people, the guy who they were saying should run against Donald Trump in 2020. Here's Mondani.
Tonight, we made history. In the words of Nelson Mandela, it always seems impossible until it is done. My friends,
I'm going to kind of have to agree with him there. It almost seems impossible that this would happen to New York until it's done.
We have done it. I will be your Democratic nominee for the mayor of New York City.
Now, I was looking this up because I like looking up weird things. Do you know that 47,000 Connecticut residents commute to New York City for work? That's at least according to the 2023 data, the Regional Plan Association report. That's what they're saying. Primarily, those people come from Fairfield County, parts of New Haven and Litchfield County. They earn a total of $11.4 billion annually and support 76,000 jobs in Connecticut. The number reflects both in-person and remote hybrid workers employed by New York City-based companies. That figure is returning from pre-COVID levels. What do you think a guy like Mondani is going to do with wealthy people who live in Connecticut, who work in New York, in order to pay for free buses, in order to pay for public housing, in order to pay, who ordered him to get most of those tax dollars that he's talking about raising? Who do you think's going to foot the bill? Anyone who lives in Connecticut who commutes into New York. Hell, there's a report today they're going to increase the fares on Metro North. You're going to foot the bill. You don't think it affects you? That's a lot of people that work in New York City out of Connecticut. Cuomo was very much into raising taxes on people who lived out of state. Anybody remember that? I do. Remember he begged for all of those nurses to leave their home state and come into New York to help out with the COVID crisis? And then when they got here, he taxed them through the hilt? He asked for their help and then got them. Nurses were like, we came here to help you out. I said, no, stupid. You came here to pay more taxes. Losing a lot of revenue here. How do you think we're going to make up for it? That's New York, baby. People are looking at this and going, what in the hell is going on? Well, it's not just so much when you don't participate. It's when you don't care. You say that I'm disenfranchised with politics. I'm disenfranchised with the vote. We never, ever get what we vote for, or the people that we want elected they never end up being elected. Yeah, you have that attitude. Don't show up, sure. I don't want to sound crazy here, but who doesn't believe that there's a Mondani waiting in the wings right here in Connecticut? Who doesn't believe that? Who doesn't believe that there's someone in Connecticut who is applauding that? Quietly, we do know that a lot of people were like, please, please, Andrew Cuomo, please. But it wasn't enough. The people have spoken. Here, listen to some of the voters. Here's a young male voter who was stopped by, what's this guy? He's an independent journalist. I think his name is Nick Friedman. Is that his name? Let me make sure I get his name right. Nate Friedman. I apologize. I've been watching some videos of him lately. Nate Friedman talking to a young male voter. Guy's got to be in his maybe late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah. Can I ask you who you want to win?
Zoran.
Oh, tell me why Zoran.
Because he's the only candidate whose politics don't bother me to my core.
What bothers you to your core about Cuomo?
Where can I start?
Anywhere you like.
The fact that he's a sex pest, that he is corrupt, that he put Republicans on the legislature when he was in office constantly, that he tried to block de Blasio's pre-K for all. I could go on.
Yeah.
He's been a crook since he started.
I'm seeing what Republicans are saying on X, and they're concerned about like him giving money to transgender healthcare in the city. Do you care about that?
I have never once cared about that. I mean,
Yeah.
insofar as that, like, is
Yeah.
this a problem?
Yeah.
I've never once cared about such things. No.
Yeah. The government-run grocery stores. What are your thoughts on those?
I think that's fine. It's a small program he wants to do. It's
Yeah.
it's about like testing out new policies, taking chances with policy, which I think everybody should be doing. The term defund the police got co-opted by the bad people and turned into some kind of slam and some kind of othering. But what it is there needs to be kind of it is about kind of making police accountable, and if they're not, their pay gets stopped. Kind of like that kind of general principle, because there's no need for police to have military grade SWAT gear for protests.
You hear this young man. He agrees with Mondani, saying that social workers should be hired to deal with issues inside New York City. Have you been? Social workers? Those are the people who should show up to domestic incidents, and there are a lot of them. Those are the ones who should handle it. People are going to come out and tell you to have a timeout. Yeah, I wouldn't trust this voter. Let's talk to a young female voter in New York who also voted for Mondani.
I voted for Mondani.
Okay, can you tell us why?
I'm just looking for someone new and not part of the established Democratic Party who also hasn't been accused of sexual assault.
I spoke to the other side a little bit, and they're concerned about like the government-run grocery stores and the free buses. What's your response to that?
I think government in the U.S. is great in the sense that there's always balance, right? Like, no one person is making all the decisions, and so I think there'll be balance within.
He describes himself as a Democrat socialist. Like, do you feel like socialism would work in New York City?
No, not necessarily.
No, she doesn't believe that socialism will work, but still voted for the socialist. She's going to vote for a guy who is going to implement socialism into the city. Hakeem Jeffries, pretty much the leader of the Democrat Party, he had an opportunity to respond on Morning Joke. Morning Joke Scarborough asked him, Hakeem, what do you think of this Mondani character? Is he the future of the Democrat Party? Let's hear what Timu Obama had to say.
I'm curious what your thoughts are on him ideologically. Is that does he have an ideology that you would want your candidates in 2026 to have?
Well, from the standpoint of House Democrats and what our focus has been, clearly we have an affordability crisis in the United States of America, and our focus will continue to be on driving down the high cost of living in this country. Donald Trump promised to lower costs on day one. Costs haven't gone down. They're going
yada, 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 yada. He went on to make it about Donald Trump because he cannot endorse Mondani. But this says something a lot larger about the Democrat Party. The reason why Timu here cannot endorse nor denounce Mondani is because he's scared to death to do so. He acts out of fear because he has no choice. He can't condemn him, and he can't support him. Because as I told you about Bernie Sanders a long time ago, if they endorse Bernie Sanders, they have to do what? They have to say, we endorse socialism, which the Democrat Party wants to do behind the scenes, not in front of them. So they will never get a hold of their party. The radicals run it. Mondani will more than likely win because Eric Adams doesn't have a shot in hell. The only person who can endorse him, who has any political power, is the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. And again, aside from that, their other choice is a raspberry beret, the kind you find at a secondhand store. A raspberry beret. And if it was warm, he wouldn't wear much more. Sad. Goodbye, the Islamic Republic of New Palestine, formerly known as New York. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC NewsTalk 1080.
Hey, it's Maz, and did you know that Aaron's, the snow thrower company, also makes Gravely lawnmowers? I've been using a Gravely zero-turn mower for years. I'll never use another brand again. Yes, I cut my own lawn. And now for a limited time, save up to $700 on select Gravely mowers and take advantage of 0% financing. Gravely's zero-turn mower beats any tractor out there. Trust me, I use one, I love it. Stripe your lawn, go with the brand made by Aaron's. Go with a Gravely zero-turn riding mower. Visit your local Gravely dealer today.
If you're looking for the lowest price on Nexen tires, then go to Town Fair Tire and get the guaranteed lowest price on any Nexen tire you need. That's right, the lowest price on any Nexen tire, including their most popular tread patterns. Plus, nobody will give you more free services for life than Town Fair. Remember, for the guaranteed lowest price on Nexen tires, plus the most free services, nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080.
You log into your DSP. It's confusing. Where do you build a campaign? Where's the report? Targeting's vague, CTV's tacked on and overpriced. Then you find Viant. Setup? Just a chat prompt. AI does the rest. Targeting? People-based and precise across premium publishers. Measurement? Transparent, outcome-driven. And CTV? We've led since streaming meant something. Viant is the DSP that actually gets advertising. Still trading on a desk? Visit Viant.ai to unlock real results today.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would it leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Choose the company I trust. Endurance. If your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection on the drivetrain, AC, and more. Get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Call for your fast free quote today. 800-310-0219. 800-310-0219.
And now, a WTIC news update.
94 degrees at 2:30. I'm John Silda, WTIC 1080 News. Heat advisory until 7. One more hot and steamy day in Connecticut, and temperatures will begin to get a little more tolerable around here. Sam Samperi has a forecast coming up. More witnesses are being called to the stand today. Milford Superior Courts, the 2022 stabbing death of Fairfield Prep teen Jimmy McGrath. He was stabbed in a melee that injured 3 others when 2 groups of rival students began fighting at a house party where underage drinking was taking place. The now 19-year-old Raul Valley has pleaded not guilty to murder. Fairfield police say a man riding a moped was struck and killed by a vehicle last weekend. Person identified as 25-year-old Juan Otilio Tista. He's from Bridgeport. Police say he was hit in the area of Post Road Saturday night. They did find the suspect vehicle and have tracked down the driver. Shelton police investigating the discovery of a dead male French bulldog found Tuesday, left in a bag on the stairs leading up to the Little Barn restaurant on Bridgeport Avenue. Ceasefire between Israel and Iran appears to be holding. President Trump has asserted that U.S. and Iranian officials will talk next week. Ceasefire gives rise to cautious hope for longer-term peace. Iran has not responded yet. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, expected to be released from jail in Tennessee. He'll then be taken into immigration custody Salvadoran national taken into jail, released actually from jail, was returned to the U.S. on June 7th in El Salvador. WTIC News Time 2:32. Here's Sam with the forecast.
John, another hot one this afternoon, but at least it's not quite as hot as yesterday. We're in the upper 90s to low 100s. Today, we're going to hold in the mid-90s. We have that heat advisory. It already feels like it's near 100 now, and we'll continue to have that feel, so that's why we have that heat advisory in effect the rest of today and into tonight. Otherwise, we'll watch for the chance for a couple scattered showers and storms late in the day. Otherwise, mostly cloudy overnight. Lows dropping back into the 60s, turning much less humid. And then, as we head towards tomorrow and Friday, what a difference a day makes. Temperatures only in the 70s, turning much cooler and less humid both days. Always a chance for a shower, but I think most of the time it will stay dry, John. Everyone be safe, as now temperatures are well up into the 90s. I'm meteorologist Sam Samperi.
It's 94 right now in Hartford. Mixed markets on Wall Street this Wednesday afternoon. The Dow down 199. NASDAQ's up 25. S&P's down 7 points. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hi, I'm Eric Hogarth, certified financial planner from Money Wisdom. You only retire once, and it's important to do it right. Tune in every week as we discuss ways you can manage your money wisely. Don't miss Money Wisdom Saturdays at 8:30 on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Actual price depends on product and plan purchase. To get started and learn more, including important safety information, clinical study information, and restrictions, visit forhers.com.
Everyone's talking about the breakthrough of weight loss medications, but too few can access or afford them. Hers is changing that by offering access to Wegovy GLP-1 treatment through their platform. 50% off retail price. Wegovy is FDA approved for weight loss and can help you lose up to 20% of your body weight when combined with diet and exercise. All dosages of Wegovy are offered at the same price and are eligible for FSA and HSA reimbursement. At forhers.com/radio, treatments are prescribed 100% online. A medical provider on their platform will determine if a weight loss plan is right for you, and if prescribed, your plan ships free directly to your door. By getting access to Wegovy through Hers, you get so much more than just medication. You'll get ongoing support along your weight loss journey. See if Wegovy is right for you at forhers.com/radio. That's forhers.com/radio. forhers.com/radio.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
Hey, Matt Soroyce here, and as the weather turns, the summer picnics and barbecues are upon us. And wouldn't it be nice to feel comfortable and wear what you really want by the pool? Well, Awaken 180 Weight Loss can help you get there. I've been on the program for some time now, and like we all do, I let vacations and parties get the better of me and have put on some unwanted weight. But just one of the great things about Awaken 180 Weight Loss is the counselors that will get me right back on track to hit my goal weight. And that's why I love it. It's more of a partnership than a diet. Awaken 180 Weight Loss is the long-term solution for weight loss. And if you don't believe how it's helped me, take a look at over the 24,000 people they have helped lose weight for good. From the great food recipes to the amazing counselors, Awaken 180 is so confident in your success, they offer free support for life. So what are you waiting for? Let's make this summer one where we feel our best. Give them a call right now at 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800, or visit them online at awaken180weightloss.com.
If you're trying to get through your daily activities and you're noticing you can't because you're focusing more on your pain than being able to enjoy the moment, those are the patients that we're looking to treat because we can make a difference.
That's Dr. Ashley Caravelli, a medical director for QC Kinetics.
What we're doing at QC Kinetics is offering treatments that help with joint preservation conservation. We use cutting edge technology in our in-house lab to harness your body's natural healing powers and target the areas where you need them the most.
These are regenerative, non-surgical treatments, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader, delivering lasting relief to tens of thousands of patients.
What we do know is that the sooner we start treatment, the sooner you'll see relief.
So don't wait another minute. See if you're a good candidate for these non-surgical treatments for joint pain. The consultation is completely free.
Call QC Kinetics, 860-440-PAIN. That's 860-440-PAIN. 860-440-PAIN.
Another
1 minute.
Why are so many people getting
Yes, sir.
puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, boy.
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Here we go. Every time.
Thank you, sir.
eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, your friend Sean Hannity here. Happy birthday, WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hey, that was nice of Sean Hannity to do that. Rama's in the chat room, and he says, I can't wait to see the new Law & Order spinoff in New York City that will be a unit of mental health counselors. He calls it Law & Order Mental Health Unit. These are their failures. I think that's perfect. That's what's probably going to happen there. I want to read this just to give you an idea of the people that are working with and working for this Mondani character. This from the Washington Free Beacon. The campaign political director for Socialist New York City mayoral candidate Zoran Mondani expressed admiration for accused murderer Luigi Mangione in recent unearthed Facebook posts, writing in one that he looks forward to driving down a street named in Mangione's honor. Quote, Mangione is adored not only because he dared to target a leader of one of the most vile, self-enriching industries darkening our society today, but because he dared to defy the status of nihilistic rejection. This according to Julian Gerson, who has worked for Mondani's campaign since March. He wrote this last December in a social media post, according to the UK Daily Mail. The question is not whether or not he's right or wrong, Gerson went on. It's how many others he has shaken loose. In another post, Gerson suggested that the street be renamed in honor of Mangione, writing he was looking forward to driving down Mangione Avenue a few decades from now. Those are the people who are associated with him. Ram also said earlier in his text, if Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo, and Curtis Sliwa, as I refer to him, Raspberry Beret, can set aside their egos and back Mayor Eric Adams, perhaps there's hope. Otherwise, they'll split the vote, which is what everyone is fearful of, that there will be so many candidates that Mondani will more than likely win. And I've got to be honest, folks. I really don't care. Blow it up. That's what they want. The people who are there now have no respect for the city. It is a financial capital of the world. Many people remember it as the capital to the world, New York, unofficially. But it was. That's where everyone who's been from anywhere has gone to, New York City. And people have moved there in order to destroy it. They moved there. Sure, they partied. Sure, they had their mixologists, fix them up, those fancy little drinks. They partied. They did their little pink cocaine, smoked their hydroponic weed coming from, 18 or 19 herbs and spices, whatever it is the kids have done. And they've turned it into a hellhole. They released the maniacs. They're running the streets, pushing people into subways, into subway cars, oncoming subway cars, I might add, stabbing people inside the subway trains. No one rides them. Times Square, you can't smoke a cigarette, but a filthy, wretched smelling Elmo can berate you into taking a picture with him if you're walking down the street. That's what it's turned into. Folks, it's god-awful. And I'm just going to tell this story, and I'll get off this whole thing about New York. Trust me, they'll be talking about it until July 1st or July, whenever it is, when the final tallies come up. But I just want to share with you this story, why I knew that New York wasn't the place for me. I'll never forget it. It was roughly about 1993. My son had turned a year old, and Giuliani was turning the whole city around. 42nd Street. To walk down that block, I'll never forget the things that I saw the first time I could walk down that street. Street vendors outside were selling fake IDs. Every movie theater that was lined on 42nd Street between 8th and 9th Avenue was an X-rated film, openly, running day and night. Yeah, as early as 11 a.m. was open to the public when you walk down there. Drugs, junkies, pimps, prostitutes, that was 42nd Street. When Giuliani came into office, and by the way, that was still there when we had the first black mayor of New York, Mayor David Dinkins. When Giuliani came into office, Rudolph Giuliani took over, he brought corporations to New York City. He brought Disney. He tore down all the mayhem that was on 42nd Street. Do you know New Yorkers complained that he got rid of the porno theaters, that he got rid of the pimps and the hustlers, that he got rid of the drug dealers, and made 42nd Street family-friendly by putting a Disney store there, by putting a Disney theater there where they showed The Lion King and Aida. Yeah, he was bashed for that. People were saying how much they missed the drugs and the crime. The authentic 42nd Street. That was when I knew, oh, hell, New York's going straight to hell. As soon as they get rid of Giuliani, it's over. And they did. And then they hired Bloomberg. And what did Bloomberg start doing? Well, he started putting in restrictions, then tried to control what people ate and drank. Remember the Big Gulp scandal? Yeah, I remember it. Don't you? All of a sudden, we get the likes of de Blasio, of all people. It makes it even more difficult to live and work in the city. Just constantly taxing and taxing and taxing. It gets worse and worse and worse. And then COVID hits. And forget about it. It's over. And then after all of that, with everything that the city has gone through, they get Mondani. And people are applauding this. Even though every newspaper from the New York Times, the Daily News, and the New York Post are saying, please, New York, don't do this. Don't do this. We've got to stop this guy. And New Yorkers are saying, no. No, we're going to burn it all to hell. And What can you tell them? I'm sorry. I know that people are desperate to save that city, but it's a lost cause. We're going to have to find a new number one city. There are plenty of candidates out there. Hell, Connecticut could turn into the next great city. It's possible, or someplace. I don't know if it's New Haven or Bridgeport, but whatever. Stanford's got a shot. Okay, I'm totally kidding there. There's no hope for Hartford either. But there's just going to have to be another great city. Perhaps Jersey City. Donald wants to know, who should they have voted for? I just gave you 3. Cuomo, Adams, or Raspberry Beret. You had 3. Who should they have voted for? It's not for me to decide. I don't think I would have gone with Raspberry Beret. But dare I say it, I would have voted for Adams. Cuomo gets no love here. I know who Cuomo is. Andrew Cuomo gets no love here. Progressives loved him. Anybody remember the campaign against Ed Koch versus Mario Cuomo, his father? Who is the brilliant mind who came up with vote for the Cuomo and not the hoe? Yes. That was Andrew Cuomo. Yeah. That's the guy. He gets no love here, no burn. Great question, Rama. Will Trump endorse Adams? He may have to. He may have to. But at this point, I don't know if it hurts or helps. I just don't know. I think that at this particular time, we may have to sit back and accept that New York is finished. Or Mondani can go in and screw this up so bad that they wake up from the nonsense. Look, I'll even say this. Donald, you know I love you. I tell you all the time, Donald. Donald really, really loves the idea of a Mondani. He really loves the idea of a socialist Democrat running New York City. So you know what, Donald? I'm going to root for your guy. Because like I said, I don't care if he burns to the ground. It's New York. I'm never going back there. I'm not even going to visit. I drive around New York City. I refuse to go in it. If I find myself in New York, I wash myself immediately. Like, bathe me in sanitizer. I won't touch the city anymore. So I will root for your buddy, Mondani, to win. And then you'll deal with, 6 years of him being mayor? And then when he completely screws it up, we'll come back. And I'll just say to you, so what do you think? What do you think? You want to go in another progressive direction? Or maybe he didn't implement it well? I say give him a shot. But after that, hey, you don't hear me respecting the people's decision? I totally do. Of course I do. I think it's a great opportunity for New York to find out if the so-called greatest city in America, the financial mecca of the United States, the number one market, can afford a socialist mayor and $30 an hour minimum wage, higher taxes, government housing, and government supermarkets. Absolutely. What other place should we test out this radical new idea? New York City. I respect the people's decision too. We'll take a break. We'll come back. More your phone calls and much, much more when we return. Got a lot of local stuff going on. Look at that. Representative arrested for shoplifting. That's an interesting story. We'll be back. It's Reese On The Radio on WTIC and NewsTalk 1080.
If you've been injured in an accident, don't let the insurance company decide how much you're worth. At Carter Mario Law Firm, you're more than just a client and more than just a quick settlement. When you get Carter, we'll help you get more. More experience, more attention, and more accessibility. The Carter Mario Law Firm's zero-fee warranty means you pay nothing unless we win. Visit GetCarter.com or call 877-GET-CARTER.
Hi, Dave Berger from Modern Plumbing Supply. Whether we like to admit it or not, we're all getting a little bit older each day. And as we get older, we need products to make our lives easier and safer, especially in the bathroom. From safety grab bars, shower seats, and handheld shower systems, Modern Plumbing Supply is the place to get your quality safety products at affordable prices. Modern Plumbing Supply showroom on the Berlin Turnpike in Berlin. Products to make your life safer every day.
Great design with you in mind. Modern Plumbing Supply. HartfordLatinoFest.com is celebrating its 10-year anniversary. Saturday, July 12th from noon until 7 at Duncan Park, downtown Hartford. This family event is free, and you'll enjoy live Latin bands, local groups, Latin food, drinks, and much more. For more information, call Luna at 860-983-5629 or go to HartfordLatinoFest.com. Latino Fest is proudly supported by Los Chivos, the Hartford Yard Goats, attorney Michael Chambers Jr., Hartford's Town and Clerk's Office, Liberty Bank, Kia of East Hartford, Connecticut, Greater Hartford Regional School Choice Office, and WTIC News Talk 1080.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions. Here we go. Quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Listen to WTIC News Talk 1080 on the free Odyssey app. Download and like WTIC today for alerts on special programming.
I think, Brahma, you have a very, very good point in the chat room. He says, but with he asked if Trump will endorse Adams, and I said, I don't know, and I don't know if it'll help or it hurts. Rama then said, but the pro-Trump turnout in the Bronx and New Jersey won't. Jersey can't vote in this. But the Bronx, yeah. I mean, there's a possibility that Trump could run a, Save Mayor Adams campaign that New Yorkers will engage. It was only 565,000 people who voted in this primary. So there's a likelihood that Donald Trump could, get plenty of people out to back him. Lori says, I hope he wins and perhaps the masses will finally see what it's like to live in communism like Cuba, China, or North Korea. That's true because it's New York and it's got all the media markets and all eyes will be on. It's the reason why every national news network is talking about this race because they know they won't say it out loud. They know what's on the line. That the Democrat Party is teetering into being a socialist party. Its true essence. And Mondami, whatever his name is, Mondami, Donnie, whatever, he may be that foray into it. Chuck Schumer, not endorsement, says this. I have known Zoran Mondani since we worked together to provide debt relief for thousands of beleaguered taxi drivers and fought to stop a fracked gas plant in Astoria. He ran an impressive campaign that connected with New Yorkers about affordability, fairness, and opportunity. That's all he wrote. Not that I stand by him. He acknowledged he won. That was it. Let's go to the phones real quick before we go to break. Let's go to Walter on his cell. What's going on, Walter?
I just my opinion is I think if Como should run as an independent or as an outside candidate with Adams running and Mondani and Curtis, I think it gives Curtis a good shot.
So you think that with the Democrat Party, it sort of fractures that so that Adams can just win directly. Or, I mean, Sliwa, I apologize. Sliwa just win the Republican vote and then cancel everybody because the other guys will cancel each other out.
Well, the last time Curtis ran, he got 37%.
That's a good number.
Only. Pardon me?
No, that's a good number with a fractured Democrat Party, right? If you're running four
absolutely,
candidates,
absolutely.
yeah, if you're running four candidates all together, with the three being ostensibly liberal, right? You just get, you get the Democrats fighting each other over Adams, Cuomo, and Mondani. You get Curtis Sliwa just because.
Yep.
That is a good idea. And I hear that Cuomo is thinking about running independent, and he can. It's probably easier for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think as far as running, Adams is running independent. I think Cuomo can also if he wanted to.
Yeah, I think he can. I think he probably will. Look, I think the Democrat Party is probably going to say to Cuomo, listen, we need you to run as an independent because if it's a powerful job as being mayor of New York, as we've seen in the past, being the number one market. They can't give this up to a socialist because that reverberates amongst the entire party. Thank you, Walter. Good point.
Take care.
You got it, sir. Let's get to my good friend Matt in Bristol. Hello, sir.
Hello, Mr. Hopkins.
What's
How
going
are you
on?
doing, sir?
Pretty good.
Good. I don't know why people are upset about the socialists winning the primary. I think that's a great thing because, like you said, either there's going to be other Democrats running against him or the general population is not ready for socialism, even if the primary elects the socialists for their side. So I think either way, that gives the Republican a way better chance of winning.
That's true, but I look at it the same way I look at Brandon Johnson in Chicago. And I think Lori does too. Don't you think that people who are progressive to the level of socialism need to actually experience what it would be like to be governed by it?
If it wasn't in a state
right.
that was right near me, I would have completely agree.
That's right. You know what it's like? I'll tell you, Matt, you know what I'm thinking? I hear you when you're saying it. It's sort of like you see somebody who lives next door to you treating their house like mess, and then somebody says, man, that place should be burnt to the ground, and go, nope, I live too close.
If California wants to elect a socialism and then let them burn
it down, right?
I'm all on board, but New York's a little too close for my comfort.
I totally get it, buddy. I get it. Couldn't agree with you more, sir. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate you. Hey, look, like I said, that was the reason why I mentioned it. Is because, look, that's a lot of people in Southern Connecticut who work in New York City. $11 billion, man. $11 billion. It's a hell of a lot of money. And, that's what New Yorkers do, especially these guys on the left. That's what they do. They take it out on the people who work out of state. And Mondami, he's the type. Let's get to some news with John Silva. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
3 o'clock, Hartford, temperature 95 degrees. We've got that heat advisory in effect until 7. All the forecast details coming up. President Trump says U.S. officials will talk sometime next week now that the war between Iran and Israel is over.
President Trump insists those U.S. airstrikes did devastate Iran's nuclear capability. And if you don't believe him, he suggests, ask the Iranians.
Just came that Iran's foreign ministry spokesman, this is Iran's foreign ministry, says its nuclear installations were very badly damaged by the American strikes.
Insisting to reporters gathered at the NATO summit in The Hague, the Iranians won't rebuild because, quote, they've had it.
And Tehran not yet commenting on when those talks would take place. Israel today reported one of its deadliest days in Gaza in months. 7 soldiers were killed when a Palestinian attacker attached a bomb to their armored vehicle.
This incident is putting pressure on Prime Minister Netanyahu to end the war and bring the hostages home. A lot of Israelis are asking why, after 20 months, soldiers are still dying in Gaza.
That's CBS contributor Robert Berger in Jerusalem. Back here, an ambitious mixed-use development project being pegged for New Haven. Local and state officials gathered today for the announcement at Union Station. A pair of 16-story towers are planned for the rail station area that would house apartments and stores, says Mayor Justin Elicker. The project would cost around $316 million, and Elicker says would be located on underused state land. The mayor says it'll help quell the housing shortage in Connecticut.
The state needs over 100,000 new units of housing, and New Haven is just leaning into this challenge. And it's a proud moment in our city that we can stand together with our partners, both our development partners and our state partners, and I also want to emphasize local partners.
Nearly 500 apartments are planned, with 118 of those affordable units, they say. Work set to begin in the fall of next year. The Rowell Valley murder trial continues in Milford Superior Court. Valley is now 19. He's pleaded not guilty to murder in the stabbing death of Fairfield prep student Jimmy McGrath in May of 2022. The two got into a fight involving rival high school students at a house party in Shelton where underage drinking had been taking place. 3 others were injured. One of them, Ryan Hines, took the witness stand to recall how the fight escalated into a stabbing. Valley's defense lawyer, Kevin Smith, though, paints his timeline as being uncredible.
You didn't want payback. No. You weren't anticipating a fight. No. You didn't think, man, I've got 20 of my buddies from the Shelton High football team here. We got pretty good odds on our side. No.
Trial expected to go to the jury, possibly as early as next week. And the word this week that West Nile virus mosquitoes are already turning up in Connecticut has medical experts advising caution but not panic. They say the vast majority of those who contract the disease may experience mild symptoms and may not even know it. Dr. Greg Buller, chair of medicine and associate chief medical officer at Bridgeport Hospital.
But even up to 20% of people may have, flu-like symptoms, maybe a headache, sore throat, maybe even some vomiting, diarrhea. You can get a rash, some joint pain. So again, kind of like a flu-like illness. And it goes away after a few days.
And he does say more serious symptoms like brain swelling can occur. Buller says guarding against mosquito bites by using repellent and covering bare skin can go a long way toward warding off diseases. WTIC News Time is 3:04 from the WTIC 24-hour traffic network. We should be putting a cap soon on the road work for the day. Still some leftover work, though, in Manchester on 384 East between exits 3 and 5 in the 2 left lanes. That should be wrapping up at any moment now. Still in Tallinn, crews on the east and westbound sides of 84, the areas of 67 to 69. Down in North Haven, the work on 91, northbound repair work between exits 11 and 13. We had some earlier repair work in Hartford on 84 from 46 to 41. That appears to have been taken care of. And some volume delays, 84 west out of East Hartford between 56 and 45. Let's check the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
A heat advisory remains in effect through 7 p.m. this evening. Record-breaking temperatures on our Wednesday. Hot and humid with a thunderstorm in parts of the area. It could produce some localized damaging wind gusts. The high of 96. A thunderstorm in spots this evening. Otherwise, mostly cloudy. The low down to 68 tonight. Sweet relief from the extreme heat for the rest of the week. Starting on Thursday, it'll be cloudy with a shower in the area. The high dialed all the way back to 73. Overcast with a shower in spots on Thursday night. The low down to 62. Friday, cloudy, a shower in spots. The high back to 73. Then warmer as we make our way over the weekend. Mostly cloudy, a thunderstorm in parts of the area on Saturday afternoon. The high of 81. A thunderstorm in spots on Saturday evening. Otherwise, cloudy, warm, and humid. The low 69. Then warm and humid with a morning shower on Sunday. Then a blend of sun and clouds for the afternoon. The high of 82. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Dow's down 156 points. NASDAQ's up 48. and the S&P is down a point. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
HartfordLatinoFest.com is celebrating its 10-year anniversary. Saturday, July 12th from noon until 7 at Duncan Park, downtown Hartford. This family event is free, and you'll enjoy live Latin bands, local groups, Latin food, drinks, and much more. For more information, call Luna at 860-983-5629 or go to HartfordLatinoFest.com. Latino Fest is proudly supported by Los Chivos, the Hartford Yard Goats, attorney Michael Chambers Jr., Hartford's Town and Clerk's Office, Liberty Bank, Kia of East Hartford, Connecticut, Greater Hartford Regional School Choice Office, and WTIC News Talk 1080.
College holds a mythic place in American culture, but there are stories you won't hear on the campus tours.
The higher-ups are concerned about one thing, and that is avoiding scandal.
I'm Margot Gray. On the new podcast, Campus Files, we cover everything from rigged admissions to the drama of Greek life and student protests. Listen to and follow Campus Files, an Odyssey original podcast. Available now on the free Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Slow? Clogged? Backed up? Don't worry. ALO Home Services has you covered. For only $93, our technician will clear any drain in your home. And if it can't be cleared, it's free. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P102776688, D10401465, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Men, summertime is here, and that means vacations, summer barbecues, outdoor parties, camping, beaches, and so much more. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and if you're like many men, you may not be feeling like yourself this summer. Perhaps your energy is low and you aren't sleeping well. Maybe your workouts aren't as good as they used to be. Maybe even your sex drive is off. And if what I'm describing is you, it's very likely you're suffering with low testosterone. But low T doesn't have to affect you anymore. Just call Northeast Men's Health, get treated, and see how it changes your life. If you're like most men, you'll feel so much better. Deeper sleep, improved vitality and clarity, greater strength and energy, and an improved sex drive as well. So call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you, including our new office in Warwick, Rhode Island.
Reese on the Radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
All right, we got plenty of stuff to talk about today. Stupidest thing I read today involves Wichita, Kansas. Can't understand it, but I'll try. Also, we've got headlines coming up, so stand by for that. I'm probably going to do, I should be doing it now, but I'm going to do it in the next break because people are just joining us. Also, to let you know, please go to the Odyssey app, WTIC.com or ReeseOnTheRadio.com. Because, of course, the Red Sox will be playing shortly. In fact, they're going up against, is it Seattle or Los Angeles? No, they're going against L.A. They're going against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim coming up at 4 o'clock. So you can listen to that game here on WTIC, News Talk 1080. And you can find Reese on the Radio on the Odyssey app, ReeseOnTheRadio.com if you wish to opine. And, of course, the telephone number is 860-522-WTIC. I haven't talked to this guy in a while. Let's talk to Georgie in St. Louis. What's going on, sir?
Hi, Reese. What Mamdani is proposing is price controls.
Oh, yeah.
He wants rent controls. He wants to take over all the supermarkets in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, Kamala did the same thing. This
Right.
is how she wanted to control inflation. She was proposing price controls. This is right out of the Communist Manifesto.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't work. And immediately you're going to be branded a communist. And communism doesn't work in a capitalist state.
Why
So
do you think?
Right away.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I was going to ask you a question, but go ahead.
No, what I'm saying is it's immediately a losing proposition.
Absolutely.
Now,
but I don't think New York is going to reject it, though. Do you?
I think even my own daughters have been infiltrated by
Really?
the social media. They've got some kind of, I don't know, voodoo going on where they propose things that just don't work in a capitalist state.
I think what it is, George, I think it's an either or. Let me read you what Donald wrote in the chat room. He says, when capitalism continues to abandon the working class, which, by the way, is a myth, but young kids do believe this. He said, when it abandons to abandon the working class and the poor, then you end up with socialism and communism. You don't end up with it. People choose those things. And here's why. It's because many of them are romanticized into believing that
exactly.
Socialism and communism takes care. It's a commune. Everyone gets the same. Everyone's taken care of.
Reese, here's what happens. When you get old enough, you learn all of the systems and things that just don't work.
Mm-hmm.
You've got yourself now educated, and you already know a list of things that just won't work, doesn't work in society.
Right.
And communism is one of those things. The up and comers, the young just don't understand. They don't listen to the elderly. Let's put it this way: we're ignored.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
If you tell your kids that when you put your hand over a flame, if you're going to get burned, I guess they have to realize that for themselves first.
You're right.
They don't listen to
That's kind of like what Lori and I are saying. I think, we think that New York may have to put their hand on the stove and get burned before they realize what's going on.
That's exactly what's going to have to go down.
Thank you, George. Let me get to, hey, I haven't heard from him in a while, too. Tim in Hamden, what's going on, sir? I'm assuming you're very celebratory about the primary win of Mondani?
Well, it was in the Democratic primary, and it is important to remember that this man calls himself a democratic socialist, just like Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders, if people will forget, that he got 13 million votes last time.
Right.
He's in Vermont.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't doubt it. I do believe, and I've said this a long time ago. Somebody must have accidentally put you on hold. Listen, I said this in 2016 before the Democratic National Committee ended up taking a shiv to his campaign, that we were teetering into this, this bookmark in our society where we were going to decide a businessman in Donald Trump or a democratic socialist in Bernie Sanders. But what happened? They had to get rid of Bernie Sanders because what happens when you become the nominee for a major party? The entire party has to then follow his template. So they have to start endorsing and, I guess for lack of a better word, speaking to and for his policies. They have to endorse them. And the Democrat Party did not want to embrace socialism, even in his democratic vision. They didn't want to do it.
You're kind of oversimplifying it in some ways. I mean, it's economic populism and everything.
Fair.
And it's the same thing with Trump did, because Trump went around saying, look at the high prices, look at the high prices. And people said, yeah, I can't take it anymore. People in New York City are saying, Cuomo, who doesn't even live in New York City, and all the sexual assault stuff, no, I don't want him. Adams, he's got all sorts of, he was going to be indicted, and he actually was indicted. They dropped the charges because he went along with Trump. So he's, very, Curtis Sliwa is, give me a break. That guy is not going to ever, get the vote. We've had Democratic Socialist or mayor of Bridgeport for 25 years. We've had, mayor of Milwaukee was a socialist. Certainly, FDR, Truman had tendencies.
Wait. Well, you're not really comparing those municipalities to the city of New York with a whopping 8 million people to serve, right? It's
But
almost.
I'm saying right now, saying young people under 40 and 50 and below are saying this city is unlivable. It's too expensive.
Well, it's never been livable. That's the whole point.
It is going through the roof crazy right now, and they're looking for solutions. I don't know whether you've actually heard this guy speak or not.
Of course I have.
He's a sharp personality.
But Tim, well, okay, let's take consideration to what you're saying about this guy Mondani. He's very enthusiastic and very, very well spoken, and the whole 9 yards. But you still haven't addressed the most important part, and you brought it up, and you kind of skated over it. You said New York is an incredibly expensive place to live, right?
Right.
And why is
it? And to get around, and yeah.
No, but why is it an expensive place to live? Do you know?
Why is it?
Yeah, why is it an expensive place to live?
Tell me what you think.
Because it's simple. Because it is the most sought after place to be in order to become either wealthy or have a sustainable life. It's got the work. It's got the jobs. It's got everything. New York is the #1 city because it has everything. If you make it there, you can make it anywhere. It's not just a line in a Frank Sinatra song. It's literally the template.
But it's not just, Manhattan. There's certainly, all the other boroughs and stuff that happen.
Are you kidding me? The other boroughs, listen, the other boroughs rely on Manhattan. In fact, it's considered the playground of the other 4 boroughs. Like coming into Manhattan, you see that place, and it's the Emerald City. It's the Empire City. You go there and you go, that's the place where I want to live. That's the place where I want to work. That's the place where I want to play. So it's expensive because it's earned that place for being as expensive as it is. And you have to cherish that by keeping it sustainable to the people who make it there, right? So the businesses and the people who buy the high rises and the penthouses up and down Columbus Avenue, and the people who live on the Upper East Side, the people who live in Battery Park, those areas, Tudor City, those places are the way that they are because those people, 1, they can't afford it, and 2, they're not abused. This guy, Mondani, is going to go in there and treat those people like the enemy. He's going to drive them out.
I think he's, I'll have to, wait and see. I mean, I'm not certainly endorsing everything he has to do. He has to find a way to balance all those things, make it truly affordable, and bring in, there's a lot of empty storefronts, a lot of all sorts of things going on. He has to give up the goods and make it work, or he'll be a one-term, guy.
Right, but if you're paying attention to him, Tim, you can hear him say it, right? And Mondani is just like AOC, the tax the rich, Bernie Sanders, there are too many wealthy people here. Treating those people like they are the enemy, dividing people through. No, hold on, let me finish. Dividing them rich versus poor, which immediately believes that if you're poor, you're virtuous, and if you're rich, you're a villain. And Mondani, he openly suggests that. He doesn't do it in a sort of avant-garde, Obama-like evasive way. He's flat out like that. And not only that, here's a guy, crazy as it may be, people used to use the term New York as the Mecca for Jews in the world, right? What does this guy plan on doing? Hold on. What does he plan on doing? He said he was asked, what would he do if Benjamin Netanyahu would arrive in New York City? Regardless of what anybody does, he gets a lot of respect in New York. But if he arrived, he said that he would arrest him. He would turn the police on Benjamin Netanyahu and put him in prison.
The same thing that the other guy, the Lander, who's the comptroller, who is Jewish, they cross-endorsed each other. They said this, the same thing. We have to, find a way to, we can't just let people continue to slaughter other people who have to put pressure and everything like that on them. He has to find a way to bring Muslims, Jews, everybody, back and forth.
Yeah, and I agree with you.
Coalition.
I agree with you. One way you don't do that. One way you don't do that is refuse to acknowledge that Israel deserves to exist. Which, by the way, he doesn't believe that. He doesn't.
He said he does as a democratic state. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
A democratic
He
state.
said that.
Okay.
It is not a religion.
What is it now?
He said it is not. You can't get extra rights simply by being Jewish. He said, and that stuff, and the other Jewish candidates and others, said the same thing.
Okay.
They have to be. They have to be. Before I get off the air, there's a big difference between supporting the people of Israel and supporting, Netanyahu, who has done so many things over the edge and would probably, be in jail.
Saying that he's going to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu is an absolute for war crimes. As a mayor of New York, dude, it's a disqualifier. He doesn't have that authority to do so. He just doesn't. It's a disqualifier.
You hadn't been to the city for a while, I guess, have you?
Maybe you're right. You're right. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate you, sir. You survived. Let's go to Jim in Waterbury. Hello, Jim.
Hey, how are you, Reese?
Pretty good, sir. What's up?
Yeah, this guy in New York, man, for one thing, he's anti-Semitic.
Indeed.
And he's a shyster. He's promising all of this free stuff. All the things he's going to do is just utterly destroy New York City for good. I don't see any upside to what he's going to do. And the people that are voting for him, a lot of them are overeducated baby boomers who are buying into his stuff, and I just can't understand them. I mean, I'm a baby boomer myself, but I never bought into that baloney.
Well,
that
Jim,
he's pushing.
Jim, I'll tell you what I think it's about. And again, I think this is tantamount to, I think this is an explanation, I should say, of what all socialists believe. And I think I laid it out, as I said, what is the financial mecca of all of the United States? It's the number one city, New York. It is defined by its opulence, right? It's defined by its, like, your status as an American. Like when you go to make it big, I'm going to New York City. And like, no matter where you are, you go there, you make it big, you make your big bucks, you do whatever, and then you move out. You move to Connecticut, you move to New Jersey, you move to Long Island, Westchester County, but you always make your money in New York City because it's that lure, right, of financial independence. That's where you go to get that. There are socialists.
An influx of people moving out. Now, I fear for we have two relatives that work on the stock market. I fear for them people because that city's going to be 9 times worse than it is as far as crime goes.
Right. But again, like, listen, like Alvin Bragg and like Mandani, what they want to do is destroy the opulence and the lure that is New York. The idea that New York is one of the richest city, if not the richest city in the country, the objective is to remove that from the city because those things are bad. Wealth is evil to socialists. Like it or not.
It's evil. No, it's communist. These people in Connecticut, too, they're not socialists. They're following the communist doctrine.
Indeed. And remember, wealth is evil. If you won't share it, it must be destroyed. That's where they're coming from. And they know it. Thank you, Jim. Yes, last thing.
In a way, the only upside is they're going to make the rest of the country see exactly what New York is.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe they won't go that way.
Exactly. Just as Lori said in the chat room, that they may have to put their hands over the flame and feel what it's like to get burned, man. Just treat them like a child.
I know.
Thank you, Jim.
I hate to see New York getting destroyed because there's a lot of good people in New York.
Yeah, and they're all getting ready to pack their bags. I'll tell you that much. Thank you, Jim. Again, look, I remember what that city was like. And as I said earlier at the beginning of the program, when Giuliani went to go clean that place up and to bring billions of dollars of tourism into the city, New Yorkers gave him hell for it. He wanted, like, New York to be the prize city, and he turned it around. He saved lives. He brought down the murder rate in New York. He saved lives. He brought in the broken windows policy into the police department. that said all crime is going to be treated. There was no cash bail. We were going to make it difficult. I said this before. I know a lot of you don't really listen to the hip hop. I get it. But I always believed that rap music, or at least back in the days, rap music always kind of told a story. Chuck D from the rap group Public Enemy once said that rap music was the CNN of the streets. In essence, if you listen to a rap song, you can totally understand, or you can get an idea of what the kids were talking about and what was relevant to them. And there's a song by Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G., called Everyday Struggle on his first album called Ready to Die. And it's one of my favorite songs on the album. And there's one line in there. And that album came out in 1994. Roland, am I right? 1994?
Which album?
Ready to Die by Notorious B.I.G. Had to be 94. So positive it was. It's at least 30 years old. But the one line, and we'll go to break with this. Biggie Smalls says, in Everyday Struggle, I'm seeing body after body, and our Mayor Giuliani ain't trying to see a black man turn to John Gotti. Because then every kid in the hood during Giuliani's reign, they were scared to death of that man. Because he was going after crime, corruption, all of that stuff, drug dealing, all of it. Stop and search was everywhere. People were scared to death of Giuliani. He ruled the city with an iron fist, and he cleaned it up, and he made it safe.
Yeah, 94.
94. I'll never forget that. That's where we are. Now they're just giving up the goods. Let's take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views. Bottom of the hour news with John Silva coming up. It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Hi, Joel Johnson here with Johnson Brunetti. Taxes don't pay a nickel more than you're supposed to, especially getting close to retirement or in retirement. Call or text the word taxes to request your free copy of our Tax Explorer Guide, 1-800-705-1232. Call or text the word taxes, 1-800-705-1232. Don't pay an extra nickel in taxes.
Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CODE to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
And now, a WTIC news update.
3:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. The searing heat will come to an end tonight, finally. The heat advisory expires at 7. Temps will fall back into the 60s with highs Thursday and Friday only in the low 70s at best. Firefighter was injured. 4 families displaced during a Tuesday fire in Norwalk. That fire broke out in a multifamily home on Godfrey Street. No word yet on a cause. Zoran Mondani has claimed victory over Andrew Cuomo in New York's Democratic mayoral primary. Now the 33-year-old upstart faces an equally tough task, defeating incumbent Eric Adams and a Republican opponent, while fending off critics who argue the Democratic Socialist is too far left. Investigation continues into a fatal crash last weekend that left a moped rider dead in Fairfield. Police say a vehicle that struck 25-year-old Juan Otilio Tista left the scene on Post Road. Tista died in an area hospital. Officers do say they were able to track down the suspect vehicle and its driver. President Trump insisting the U.S. strikes delivered a crushing blow to Iran's nuclear program. That despite preliminary American intelligence assessments suggesting the assault inflicted only a marginal setback. Trump says talks with Iran are in the works. And Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez have arrived in Venice ahead of their star-studded weekend wedding. Bezos arrived via water taxi
Really?
as
That's
he
a
and
news
Sanchez
report.
arrived at the dock of the Aman Hotel. It's a 5-star hotel on the Grand Canal. Among the 200 or so guests on the list include Mick Jagger, Ivanka Trump, Oprah Winfrey, Katy Perry, and Leonardo DiCaprio. WTIC News time is 3:32. Here's the forecast.
A heat advisory remains in effect until 7 p.m. this evening. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds, record-breaking temperatures, hot and humid with a thunderstorm in parts of the area that could produce some localized damaging wind gusts, the high 96. A thunderstorm in spots this evening, otherwise mostly cloudy, the low down to 68. Sweet relief from the heat from the rest of the week. Cloudy with a shower in the area Thursday, the high 73. Friday, cloudy with a shower in spots, the high again of 73. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Checking traffic in Wethersfield, Route 3, Maple Street is closed around Hewitt Street. They had an earlier crash involving a tractor trailer there. Volume delays beginning to build in the Hartford area, westbound 84 between exits 56
possibly
and
lost.
45.
It is pretty inexcusable that he has not been briefed and he can't speak to it.
And what's worse, a president not having all the information he needs to make.
23. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Traffic is brought to you by the Heyman Law Firm.
If you or a loved one has been the victim of medical malpractice, know that you are not alone. Call 1-800-HEYMAN and they will get you the answers and advice you deserve. Attorney John Heyman is your legal authority in medical malpractice. Call 1-800-HEYMAN.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, who's a good boy? Oh, what? Oh,
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired,
Confirming,
you'll
do
have
you
to cover
support,
it all out of pocket.
democracy
you need
or
an
authoritarianism?
Endurance Auto Protection Plan.
That's
No
pretty
matter what the
obvious.
mileage,
I
if your
support
car is
freedom
under
and
20 years
democracy.
old,
Democracy.
Endurance can get you
Great.
covered on the engine,
Would you
electrical
agree that
system,
accepting the
transmission,
results of a
AC,
fair and free
drivetrain, and
election
more.
are
Endurance
critical
has
to a
plans for
functioning
any budget.
democracy?
Repairs can be done
Would
at
you
the
agree
certified
that
mechanic.
standing that's up not and my
cheering
question
for
is,
a
would
cancer
you,
survivor
would
would have
you
been the
accept
nice thing to do. 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
Brian Shackman here for QC Kinetics. Listen, a huge focus for everybody is health. More and more people are looking beyond pills and steroids and surgery. They want natural solutions to their problems. Well, if you have joint pain and you want a natural solution and lasting joint pain relief, you might want to try the natural treatments that harness your body's own healing power at QC Kinetics. No surgery, no downtime, no drugs. These cellular level treatments revitalize and restore damaged joint tissue. And the thing about it is, the consultation is totally free. You go in there, you find out if it's right for you, and then make a decision. And if you want to go this route, whether it's hips, knees, shoulders, or back, it could change your life. Okay, give them a call. The consultation's free. 860-440-PAIN. That's 860-440-PAIN. And the chances are they're located near you. They have offices in Avon, New Haven, and Glastonbury. So give QC Kinetics a call. Set up that appointment. Stop just dealing with the pain. Do something about it. 860-440-PAIN, 860-440-PAIN.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/fax or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
I'm elder law attorney Haley Allaire. Our greatest reward is happy clients telling us that they're very thankful for our help.
Hi, I'm Carolyn from Coventry. Recently, my 82-year-old mother falls and ended up in rehab. What we thought would be temporary care became permanent following an unexpected and fast decline. When we applied for Medicaid, it was overwhelming. I didn't know where to start. I contacted attorneys, but none seemed to really know this complex process. I will be eternally grateful to a family friend who recommended Attorney Allaire and the Allaire Elder Law team. From our first meeting, they patiently answered our questions, made sure to understand Mom's situation, then guided us, providing clarity, kindness, and compassion. When we were finally granted Medicaid to cover my mom's care, I felt a huge weight off my shoulders. We had been paying for her care, and were really starting to feel the pressure. I don't know how much longer we could have done that if the Allaire Elder Law team hadn't worked their magic. We would not have gotten to this point without them.
Compassionate counsel and proven results. AllaireElderLaw.com.
Hey, did you hear? It's our birthday, 100 years. Did you happen to get us a present?
Nope, I did not. I'm working on it, though. Let's get into it. That's right. It's headline time. We did it a little late, but that's okay. We'll get to your phone calls in a second. In the headlines that you may not have heard, Hunter Biden's ex-lawyers are suing him for over $50,000 in unpaid legal fees. The former first son has failed to pay or settle his legal bills despite repeating requests for payment by the law firm Winston & Strawn. That's the name of the law firm. Might I suggest a couple of Hunter Biden paintings as a barter? I hear they've gone for as much as $2 million. Why not? I don't know if they're worth now that Joe Biden is out and Hunter Biden is, I don't know. I mean, just give him like four paintings. I'm sure somebody can sell them on the black market. Chicago's Teachers Union President Stacey Davis Gates is getting some blowback in the news nationally because of what she said about our children, your children, my children, everybody's children. This is what she said, and it was reminiscent of a clip from back in 2012.
One of the speakers at our November rally, she quotes brilliantly and perfectly American philosopher James Baldwin. Baldwin says, the children are always ours.
Always. Always.
Every single one of them, all over the globe. And what comes next is, CT Youth and your children are its children. Yes, we do. We do.
The Teachers Union. You might remember that Melissa Harris Perry, the former host over on MSNBC, said something very similar to this in 2012.
We have never invested as much in public education as we should have because we've always had kind of a private notion of children. Your kid is yours and totally your responsibility. We haven't had a very collective notion of these are our children. So part of it is we have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities. Once it's everybody's responsibility and not just the households, then we start making better investments.
Yeah, making better investments because your children are their children. A report that came out today that says that Hartford, West Hartford, and East Hartford was ranked as the 5th most expensive metro area to raise a child in. According to the analysis, the annual cost of raising a child in 2025 in East, West, and Hartford proper was $33,149 a year to raise one child. They say that number is up 3.16% from 2024. The breakdown is, and I'm glad they broke this down, the breakdown of that cost is, what is it? Okay, so $18,689 for childcare a year, $4,200 for housing, $2,100 for food costs, $3,600 for medical costs. So medical costs cost more than food. I didn't know that you could feed a kid for 1 year for just $2,000. Never knew that. I don't know what you could be feeding the kid. $2,900 for transportation, and a mere $647 for civic costs. I'm trying to figure out what that is. I looked it up. If somebody knows what the civic cost is, please send me an email or go to reasoontheradio.com or tell me in the chat room and tell me what the heck that is. I've never heard that term before, but $647 for civic costs, all rounded out to $33,149 a year for you to raise a child in East, West, and Hartford proper. ESPN analyst and former UConn player Rebecca Lobo is in the news, and she got herself, I guess, some backlash online because of this exchange in talking about opinions when it comes to basketball.
So they disagree with you. They do, and I disagree with them, and that's fine. That's what makes America great, right, Pat Moore? I should rephrase that. Yes. But yeah, I did think opinion are perfectly yes, fine. That's a better way to say it. Sorry about that.
So she's apologizing for saying that people having a difference of opinion is what makes America great, which shows you exactly what's wrong with Democrats. That making a non-controversial and like no controversy whatsoever in saying that what makes America great again, or great, is having a difference of opinion, that she had to backtrack it and say, I apologize for using that phrase. Shows you exactly how free Democrats are with the term expression, that she had to apologize. I can't believe it. In other sports news, I don't understand what's going on here, but Diamondbacks player Ketel Marte was seen crying on the field in what fans are calling a heartbreaking scene after a fan made comments about the player's mother who had died in a car accident back in 2017. This runs very similar to Duran, the Red Sox player, who had an incident where somebody was screaming out, I think it was something about his suicide attempt when he was playing against the Cleveland Guardians in April, or the end of April at Progressive Field. I'm starting to see that a lot with this very emotional response to fans in the stands and fans having to be kicked out because of these remarks. I don't know if this is a good thing for baseball or good thing for sports at all, but it is concerning. Ketel Marte, I understand he's, losing your mom is very, I understand the sensitivity of that. But I guess it's very sensitive to him that he had a breakdown on the thing. I don't know. Maybe somebody's going to have to explain something to me. Not that I thought that he was being too emotional. Hear me out. That's his mother. And I'm sure, according to what reports are, he was extremely close to his mom, as many people are. But I just don't understand exactly what was said. No one is saying what was said. So it's a little hard for me to decipher. But this is the second incident this year where something was said by a fan that led to the fan being led out of the field or out of the stadium where something insensitive was said. So I don't know. I feel like this is a slippery slope, folks. Just me. And also, as you may have heard at the bottom of the hour or even the top of the hour, Connecticut representative has been arrested for shoplifting at Target, a Target in Bethel. Connecticut state representative who was arrested was around 6:37 p.m. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. The police officers ended up at Stony Hill Road location. They notified the individual as Connecticut State Representative Rahib Ali Brennan, who was recognized by the store's loss and prevention team following a prior unreported larcenies. Following the investigation, they reviewed security footage that determined that the state representative did try to leave the store with $26.69 worth of merchandise, to where he said that he, inadvertently he was carrying under his arm as he was trying to run back to his grandmother. This is a failure in reporting for one reason and one reason alone. And this is something I've been trying to teach journalists for a long time, okay? If you are going to report on items being stolen at a Target by a state rep, can you at least ask what the items were? That is important to the story. Don't tell me that none of you were thinking, what did he steal? Allegedly. What did he forget to pay for? Let's say it that way. Don't you want to know? Don't you? You hear, look, you bother to put in the amount, $26.69. Don't leave it up to the imagination. I should know what this is. Was it a blow dryer? Was it toiletries, like maybe, razors and deodorant? What was he getting? Was it sanitary products? I don't know, but the only reason why I don't know is because the reporter didn't ask. It drives me nuts. And I looked at this and I'm going, where is it? It should be in here. It's the most important part of the story. And they're going to give him a misdemeanor summons for larceny in the 6th degree. He's at a Target. We should know. In fact, maybe we should get him to answer it. Maybe we should ask him, what did he forget to pay for? Because that's going to be the case, right? It's like I'm carrying it and I forget to put it up on the counter. I walk out with it in my arm. And that's happened. That has happened. You end up on the phone, maybe in a heated argument with a family member, your wife. You're in a heated argument with a family member, screaming and hollering, and you get so caught up in the conversation, you end up walking out, not realizing it. All of a sudden, you get to your car, and you got it in your hand like, oh. A guy gave me a pen. I was at, what was I picking up? I was wanting to grab something. I know I was at a pawn shop. I love pawn shops, if I haven't mentioned before. I was at a pawn shop. Oh, and I had to sign something. And the guy gave me just a regular old big pen, and I signed the receipt, and I walked out. And all of a sudden, I get to my car, and I realize the pen's still in my hand. And I do that a lot. God, who does that? I hear a lot of people do that. Roland, do you ever do that? You ever walk away with somebody's pen?
No.
That was pointless.
Nope.
I always do it. Anytime you give me a pen, I will hold on to it. It's like my hand just naturally clutches to it. I walked all the way out to my car and realized that I ran back in. And I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. I have no idea. I do it every time. Put a pen in my hand. It's the reason why you got to nail that stuff down when I'm around. Because I will take a pen. I just have. Anyway, we got a, what is it, EBS coming up soon? We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll get to your phone calls. Don't forget, 4 o'clock, Red Sox are playing on WTIC. We're going over to the Odyssey app. If you want to join us, of course, on ReeseOnTheRadio.com, so you can opine in the chat room. You can do that there, but the telephone number still works, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Life can be unpredictable at times, but you shouldn't have to suffer the consequences of someone else's negligence. If you've been in an accident or work-related injury and it's not your fault, you need a lawyer who knows how to get you the fair and just compensation. At Brown, Panderas & Scott, our team of personal injury lawyers have over 100 years of combined experience. At BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a full-service law firm. Call us at 860-CALL-BPS or visit bpslawyers.com. Bruce Newman is responsible for the content of this ad.
Here at ALO, we believe hearing solutions to your main drain problems shouldn't cost a thing. That's why we offer free mainline drain camera inspections and free estimates on sewer line repair or replacement. Contact the trusted professionals at ALO when you call, click, or text today and say, "Hello, ALO." Call for details. Licensed for safety. Key 10277-688, D10401465, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM 3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
You'll get more than you expect with McValue at McDonald's. So when you've spent too much on a night out, get deals on the after party. When you've got date night, get deals on favorites that'll make you their favorite. And when you've got family for the weekend, we've got breakfast.
Having options tastes better. Enjoy a refreshing Coke Zero included in either the $5 hot and spicy McChicken meal deal or the $6 McDouble meal deal. Price and participation may vary. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Hey, Matt Soroyce here, and as the weather turns, the summer picnics and barbecues are upon us. And wouldn't it be nice to feel comfortable and wear what you really want by the pool? Well, Awaken 180 Weight Loss can help you get there. I've been on the program for some time now, and like we all do, I let vacations and parties get the better of me and have put on some unwanted weight. But just one of the great things about Awaken 180 Weight Loss is the counselors that will get me right back on track to hit my goal weight. And that's why I love it. It's more of a partnership than a diet. Awaken 180 Weight Loss is the long-term solution for weight loss. And if you don't believe how it's helped me, take a look at over the 24,000 people they have helped lose weight for good. From the great food recipes to the amazing counselors, Awaken 180 is so confident in your success, they offer free support for life. So what are you waiting for? Let's make this summer one where we feel our best. Give them a call right now at 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800, or visit them online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Do you owe $10,000 credit card debt or personal
Yes, sir.
loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers
You
of
can
debt
let Adam
relief
in, by
now
the way.
being made available, designed to aid consumers out of control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-388-6607, 800-388-6607, 800-388-6607.
It's Reese on the radio. Ask your doctor if common sense is right for you. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We've got more news and more views coming up in the next hour. You go to the Odyssey app or ReeseOnTheRadio.com for more of the show. The last 2 hours, the Red Sox are beginning to play roughly after 4 o'clock. We've got emergency alert system coming up in about 2 minutes, so I can't really jump on a call right now. But stay on the lines. We'll get to you on the other side of the break. Stand by for that. I've got Don't Ask, Don't Tell Mayor Elicker in the news today. You may not have heard about this story, but it turns out every day we are waking up to another illegal living in our midst. You know, that's why I call them Don't Ask, Don't Tell. You might remember Mayor Elicker said that we don't know who's living in our communities because we don't ask. We don't ask who they are. We just protect them. Well, here's another person who is not asked and didn't tell, and this guy is a doozy. We'll get to that as well. Jasmine Crockett has dropped her bid to be the head of the Oversight Committee. She was supposed to be the ranking member for Democrats coming up. There was a vote. We'll give you what that turned out to be. Even with all of this hubbub about her being the leader of the Democrat Party, turns out the Democrats don't want that. We'll get to that as well. Stupidest thing I read today also coming up. What does Wichita, Kansas and a Connecticut senator have in common? Absolutely nothing. But we'll get to it. And a weird question that I've got to ask, if you were being attacked by a bear and sorry, let me rephrase that. I'm saying this poorly. Oh, wait a minute. We got to go to emergency action. Let's go to that right now. I'll tell you on the other side. This has to do with a bear attack. We'll talk about it in a minute. We'll do it right now. All right, we're back up. Like I was saying, if your pet was your pet were about to be attacked by a bear, would you stand in between them? We got a story about that here in Connecticut as well. So we got plenty of I knew you'd say that. We got all of that and so much more when we return. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. Are we doing our first check of weather and traffic? Yep, we're going to stick with that. All right, so we'll get to Mark Christopher and Jason Caterino, who I know is in. I'm looking at this movie that Channing Tatum is in called Roof Man, based upon a true story. And tell me if this sounds interesting, Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Apparently, there's a true story about a man who lived in a Toys R Us store, and while he was there, he robbed more than 60 McDonald's in the area. Channing Tatum is going to be in it. That sound interesting? I didn't even know this was a story.
Yeah, so he got his entertainment at the store at night, and he ate at McDonald's pretty much exclusively.
I guess so. I mean, robbing 60 McDonald's? I was like, what are you robbing McDonald's for 60 times?
When I first started here, I had to go to 60 McDonald's and put up signage and bring radio station bumper stickers.
You did? Really?
Yeah, that was my first job I did when I started here in 1989. So they said, yeah, go to 60 McDonald's, put the signage up, and leave a case of bumper stickers.
That sounds great.
So I was at a lot
of
McDonald's.
You were a street team guy.
Well, yeah, just not really, but I that was my first job here. And then I was actually on TIC FM, it was Surprise Patrol, and we'd pull people over with bumper stickers on and give them trips and
I remember
bikes
those
and cash and concert tickets.
Yeah,
and T-shirts and
great gig, man, great gig.
Yeah, when you're like in your mid-20s, great way to make some connections out there. So it was fun. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91, you got to
meet ladies.
Down to 32A and B.
What's
northbound
that?
91's moving well.
Great, make some great connections. Meet ladies.
The Bulky Bridge. 47 Sigourney, 84 eastbound, just a little slow, 46 into the tunnel, 291 through 84, okay, 2 westbound. Look out for an accident just prior to exit 1D. Looks like, I can't tell if it's left or right side, but it is slow through there, so use caution there. If you're heading into Middletown 9 northbound, slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge, 84 eastbound slows by 18. 84 eastbound again slowing as you move down by the 691 interchange in Cheshire. Westbound 84 a little sluggish, 22 to the Mixmaster. 95 southbound delays, 46 down to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by the CT Insider. Explore more at ctinsider.com.
There's more to Connecticut with CT Insider, a hometown behind every headline. With every issue, investigation, or interview, there's more when you're following from the inside. Visit ctinsider.com for more.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Heat advisory up through 7, the sun and the clouds. Temperatures topping out pretty much where they are now in the mid-90s, and then we'll fall back into the 60s tonight. President Trump had this to say about the nuclear facilities in Iran hit by U.S. airstrikes last weekend.
It's blown up to kingdom come.
Trump making that assertion despite what an early intelligence assessment claims.
We've collected additional intelligence. We've also spoken to people who have seen the site. And the site is obliterated. And we think everything nuclear is down there. They didn't take it out.
Trump says there are plans to meet with the Iranians, but there are no ultimatums. Natalie Brand has that.
And the president indicating that the U.S. will talk to Iran next week, but when pressed on an agreement, he said that he thought that maybe one wasn't necessary because he doesn't think Iran wants to pursue that anymore.
President on his way back from the Netherlands and the NATO summit. Also had a meeting with his Ukraine counterpart. Vicky Barker has that.
After meeting Ukraine's President Zelensky on the sidelines of the NATO summit, President Trump praised Ukraine as very brave. Then, seemingly touched by a question from a Ukrainian reporter whose husband had remained behind to fight, he told her, yes, the U.S. might supply Ukraine with Patriot anti-missile systems.
We're going to see if we can make some available. You know, they're very hard to get. We need them too.
Saying also that Russian President Vladimir Putin should end the war in Ukraine. Vicky Barker, CBS News, London.
Another day of mid-90s heat and humidity makes for 3 such days of record-breaking temperatures. The temperatures, as the Weather Center has indicated, will be falling back tonight into the 60s.
Check 1, 2.
Maybe a shower perhaps as a front swings through. And then a marked difference, 70s, low 70s for tomorrow and for Friday as we can finally say goodbye to this heat wave. Democratic State Representative Rahib Ali Brennan under arrest for an alleged shoplifting incident at a Target in Bethel. Here's WTIC's Morgan Cunningham.
Police say the state representative walked out of the Target on Stony Hill Road in Bethel around 6:30 Monday evening with nearly $27 worth of merchandise that hadn't been purchased. Loss prevention personnel were able to stop Ali Brennan before police could arrive. In a statement, he says that he had 2 armloads of items that had not been scanned, blaming his rush to visit his grandmother in the hospital and the juggling of multiple purchases. Ali Brennan says that he takes full responsibility and that he remains committed to serving his community. He's been released on a misdemeanor summons for 6th-degree larceny and will appear in Danbury Superior Court July 1st. Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News.
State and New Haven officials on hand today to announce a major development plan for the Union Station area. 2 16-story towers are being planned that'll house apartments, retail space, and parking. They say the plan is to put a dent in the state's housing shortage while playing up the station as a transportation hub. Deputy Department of Transportation Commissioner LaShaw King.
And it will add 470 new apartments, 294 parking spaces, over 28,000 square feet of commercial and retail space, and 26,000 square feet of residential amenities. Importantly, as the mayor mentioned, 25% of the apartments, 118 units, will be set aside as affordable housing.
Work on that set to begin in the fall of 2026. Wall Street, the Dow down 106, NASDAQ up 61, S&P down a point. Stay tuned. Red Sox baseball is next. Sox finishing up their 3-game series with the L.A. Angels at the Big A. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Who do I wrestle for? I wrestle on my team for Jason Garcia, my fiercest competitor during practice and my biggest fan during meets. I wrestle for my parents who practice what they preach, the importance of hard work, commitment, and dedication. I wrestle for the chance to put our little high school right here in Connecticut on the map.
Wearing the uniform of your high school comes with a big responsibility. Younger kids look up to you. Your teammates count on you. And the reputation of your high school depends on you. Do you have what it takes to participate in a high school sport?
And I wrestle for the glory that is mine when I do my best. That's who I wrestle for.
This message presented by the Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Conference and the Connecticut Association of Athletic Directors.
It's Reese on the Radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Plenty of news, plenty of views, your phone calls coming up. So stick around. Even though we're online, we're on the Odyssey app, of course, WTIC.com. And you can go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com if you want to watch the show. And you can opine there in the chat room if you can't call in and you're still at work and you don't want your boss to know. Lori wrote something in the chat room. Apparently, Trump has made a response to the New York City primary results. Quote, "He looks terrible. His voice is grating. He's not very smart. He's got AOC plus 3 dummies all backing him. And even our great Palestinian senator, crying Chuck Schumer, is groveling over him." I don't know. I don't know if he's groveling, but he definitely didn't denounce him. That he didn't do. So, and thank you, Peter. I was just looking at the obvious, Peter, on the Hunter Biden story. $50,000. I mean, one painting was sold for $2 million. It's got to be worth at least half that. At least now that his father's out of office. His father's still a former president. Somebody bought one for $2 million. This story about the bear attack, the owner of the dog, this one's got me. This just blows my mind. If you want to chime in on this one. So apparently there's a story that says in New Canaan, a man suffered minor injuries after an encounter with a bear on his property on Monday morning. The Department of Energy and Environmental Protection responded just before 6 a.m. to report a bear attack had occurred when a man came between a bear and his dog. The bear's cubs were also on the property. According to Deep, the man sustained scratches to his chest and declined medical treatment at the scene. The man's dog was unharmed. The man was not named. Deep said that there were bird feeders on the property that may have been luring the little ones who saw food. And I always say, stop leaving food out. All that bird feeder nonsense, you don't need to do that. Especially when you live in bear country. But would you get in between your dog and a bear? Oh, man, there's only one guy I could ask for this one. In fact, I'll ask both of you. Mark Christopher, Jason Catarinas there in the BPS Traffic Center. Mark, your dog, who just celebrated a birthday not too long ago, and a bear.
Captain, Oliver,
yeah.
Bruno, and a bear. I'd say I'd be yelling at the boys like to run like hell. I'd be running like hell, too.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think that it sounds crazy. Unless the dog is very small and it, like, if you have one of those dogs that sort of has a Napoleon complex that will charge at the bear, you know what I mean? Not knowing his own height.
Like a chihuahua or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then you'd have to get him because the dog doesn't know it is putting themselves in danger.
No, the dog doesn't know he's an appetizer for the bear. So. Man, start running, boys. We got to beat this bear out of here. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, westbound 84, you got delays just after 56 Governor Street to 47 Sigourney, 84 eastbound's a little tight, 46 Isson Avenue down to the Bulkley Bridge. Southbound 91, you're going to see delays as you move into Hartford 33 to 32. Getting a little slow by exit 28. Northbound 91, easy ride, Cromwell up through downtown up into Windsor. 291 through 84, okay, 2 westbound, looking slow from 1D up to the 84 West merge. Heading into Middletown, 9 northbound, delays Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound, Waterbury slowing and sluggish from 23 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound, a little tight, 17 to 18. Heading toward New Haven, 95 southbound, you're slowing from 46 down to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Yeah, I had 2 rescue pugs, and one of them was definitely too big for his britches. Tried to square off against a neighbor's German Shepherd twice and came out on the losing end of that. So I definitely would have to get in the middle of that bear fight. But, man, that guy's pretty bad. He declined medical treatment after squaring off with a bear.
Yeah.
You want to square off with that, dude. Anyway, a thunderstorm in spots this evening. Otherwise, mostly cloudy. The low down to 68. Sweet relief the rest of the week. Cloudy, a shower in the spots, relief from the extreme heat Thursday. The high only 73 for us. Overcast with a shower in spots Thursday night, the low 62. Cloudy, shower in spots Friday, the high back to 73. A little warmer Saturday. A thunderstorm parts of the area for the afternoon, the high up to 81. And then a warm and humid day Sunday, a shower in spots. A mix of sun and clouds in the afternoon, though, the high up to 82. Right now, 90 Waterbury, 93 Danbury, 95 Bristol, and 95 right now in Hartford with the dew point at 68. That puts the heat index at 100. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with a sun protection factor, or SPF, of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. UVA rays age the skin, UVB rays burn, and both cause cancer. But the perfect sunscreen doesn't count if you use it wrong. Don't need sunscreen on a cloudy day? Wrong. 80% of UV rays still get through the haze. Only use sunscreen at the beach? Nope. Anytime you're outside, UV rays attack the skin, so you need protection. And you have to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
President of the Chris Murphy Fan Club, Reese on the Radio, on News Talk 1080, WTIC.
Oh, darn it. Anyway, plenty of news, plenty of views coming up. Stupidest thing I read today, Jasmine Crockett and the, I can only call him the don't ask, don't tell mayor, Justin Elliker, coming up in the news. Let me get to the phones real quick. Lenny is calling from Avon. He's been on for a while. Hello, Lenny. How are you? Lenny? Okay. All right. Well, sorry, Lenny. May have been holding so long, he forgot he was on the phone. That can happen. It always happens. Don't ask and don't tell. That's Justin Elliker's moniker. That's his motto. When I asked him back in November, who are the people who live in New Haven who are illegals, or as he would call them, undocumented? Shouldn't we know who they are? Shouldn't the residents of New Haven know who they are? His response to that was, perhaps you should go out and meet them. We don't ask who they are, which is interesting considering he's the guy who allows them in and he's the guy fighting to protect them. But yet he doesn't want to know who they are. Well, we found out who at least one of them happens to be. Federal immigration authorities have apprehended a reported gang member in Connecticut who was wanted in Mexico for allegedly beating a law enforcement officer to death before illegally entering the country. Orlando Diaz Sabata was taken into custody on June 12th by Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents, according to the Department of Homeland Security. In a statement issued Tuesday, the department said Mexican authorities believe that Diaz Sabata, who goes by the name El Leches, and is a member of the Los Panchos gang, which is reportedly known to traffic drugs for the Sinaloa cartel. Thanks to our brave ICE enforcement agents and federal partners, this criminal alien fugitive wanted for murdering a law enforcement official in Mexico is off American streets. That was a quote by the DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin. She released that in a statement. This heinous murderer attempted to evade justice by hiding out in Connecticut. These types of barbaric criminal illegal aliens, our brave ICE law enforcement agencies are putting their lives at risk every day to arrest. America is no longer safe haven for violent criminals. If you are a criminal alien considering entering America illegally, don't even think about it. If you come here and break our laws, we will hunt you down. Criminals are not welcome in the United States. The interesting part about this is that Diaz Sabata has entered into the country several times. The last time he entered was in 2024, May of 2024 to be exact. Authorities said they're not sure how many times he's entered or how many times he's entered since 2004, but they know it's at least twice. So again, here is someone else in New Haven, because that's where he's picked up, who is a drug trafficker for the Sinaloa cartel. And are we to believe that he was acting alone? Is he just one random illegal in New Haven selling drugs. Is that what we're supposed to believe? According to these folks, yes. It's just one. We also heard just recently that the police, there's a dash cam video that was released. WFSB and WTNH have released, body cam footage of a man who was pulled over with all types of drugs in his car, driving on a suspended license. What did he have? A suspended license? What else did he have? He had a whole bunch of other stuff. It was incredible that he was just driving around. I think he had no insurance, no valid driver's license plate, drugs in the car, money in the car, and was just driving through town. And then when he was being pulled over or they pull up, flashed the red and blues, he tried to evade. In fact, in one case, he speeds off. If you watch the video, he takes a right turn, speeds off. And police officers are not allowed to take chase. They can't. But luckily, I guess, they either knew where he was going or suspected where he was going to go and caught up with him. And when they confronted him when he got out of the car, because he wanted to pretend like, he wasn't the driver, he was going to park the car somewhere and just walk off. The police officer confronted him, and what did he do? He ran. If you watch the video, here's what makes this video so rewarding. This is what makes it absolutely rewarding, is that the thug was not wearing a belt and his pants were sagging like a common thug. Yes, he was looking like a reggaeton rapper. That he was. His hair braided to the side, showing his underwear with no belt, trying to look all thugged out. Looking proper, son. And when the police officer, again, breaking away from the police officer who had him by the hands, breaking away from the police officer while he's running, trying to hold his pants up like a toddler. That's what he looked like. He looked like a toddler with a heavy diaper, trying to run from the police. And the police got a hold of him and put him to the ground. This is also very interesting in this. If you watch the video, he's on his back as a police officer is trying to get him in handcuffs or to get him to surrender. He's still fighting. He's on the ground, absolutely subdued. He is still trying to either get away or not be put in handcuffs. But what I noticed in there is the fact that he refused to let go of his cell phone. Boy, was that important to him. He was just gripping it like, please do not break my iPhone. That was the part that actually had me going. I was like, really? That's the thing? That's the thing you were holding on to? Just had to have the cell phone. It's on WFSB and on WTNH, which I thought was absolutely, it's my favorite. It's my favorite video this week. Do you think that Gillette's going to have to resign? I almost feel like that's happening. I feel like without a doubt it is going to happen. Because with this, I guess, admitting that she deleted, even if it was inadvertent, had gotten rid of these text messages, it still begs the question, what was on them? And without knowing what's on them and not being able to get them. I don't understand. Somebody's got to help me with this. If there are some technology buffs out there, if they know, I am almost certain that your text messages are not gone forever. I am almost positive. You know what? I'm just going to look it up. Can deleted text messages be retrieved? Let me see. I don't know if she has an iPhone or not, but we'll just say. To retrieve deleted text messages, you can try the following methods. So it appears that you can. If you have a Google One backup, you can easily restore the deleted messages by performing a factory reset on your phone. On an iOS 16 or iOS 17, you can retrieve deleted text messages by going to Messages, Edit, or Filter. Show Recently Deleted. Select Text and Recover. You can try using Android data recovery apps like Dr. Phone, spelled with an F, or Phone Rescue to recover your messages. You can check carrier SMS apps, which often sync to save backups. You can also proactively back up your text messages in the cloud, which I said yesterday. I said that yesterday that you could do that. If you save backups on your computer, you can use iCloud, iTunes, or Finder to recover text. Many carriers keep records of text messages and may be able to retrieve them for you. So it's not like this is all lost. So perhaps somebody should subpoena her cell phone provider. I mean, why wouldn't you? That sounds like the right thing to do. Richard A. says, if I were a cop, I would have grabbed him by his tighty whities and given him an atomic wedgie. You have to see the video, Richard A. I think it's more pathetic than anything. It's really a sad thing. It's a sad thing to watch. Coming up, I got the stupidest thing I read today, but I want to play this before we go to break. Do you guys remember Kari Lake, the woman who was running for Senate just recently in Arizona and then also running for Arizona governor? She lost both bids. Well, now she's running, what is she in charge of? I think she's in charge of the government's media foundation. I forget what it is, but Voice of America, VOA. She's the head of that. She's running that. So apparently she's finding a lot of corruption inside Voice of America. In fact, she also found out that there are people who are hired at Voice of America who are in the CCP and Russian operatives. And in an exchange with this, I guess, this Senate hearing, or this, I think it's a congressional hearing. She's talking about what Voice of America can do or how they can smear anyone without any repercussions. In fact, smear members of Congress where Congress has no recourse. And in this exchange, I recognize something. And I've seen it before, and I made fun of it before. You guys might remember this. So Tim and Hamden and I have always gone back and forth in an exchange. And one day, jokingly, I said to him, I'm going to make him my boyfriend. To which he lost his mind. He called me homophobic for saying it. I said, by saying that I was going to make him my boyfriend is now homophobic. I'm accepting homosexuality by saying I'm going to date him. And he refers to that as homophobia. But what I recognized in all of that was that liberals are lying. They're scared to death. They're the homophobic ones. They are like either intimidated, scared, harmed, frightened at the mere thought that someone would call them gay. Like they consider that a smear. Even though the rest of us are made to say, absolutely nothing wrong with that. He's gay. Well, no, that's fine. It's okay for him to be gay. I don't mind that he's gay. They're the ones who are always policing us. What, you got a problem because he's gay? I'm like, no, I don't have a problem because he's gay. Well, you said it like you sounded like you had a problem he was gay. No, I have no problem with he's gay. Love whoever he wants. No big deal. Right? So they're always policing that. Well, I want you to hear this exchange. Because apparently, someone at Voice of America in the past had done an article that suggested that a congressperson had a gay lover. And it was felt as if it were a smear. Well, watch the reaction from another Democrat when Kari Lake makes the point.
They could literally put out a lie about anybody here. And I know you've been the victim of that. I know you've been the victim. I remember the stories about you where they said you had a gay lover, and those were going
Mr.
out
Chairman.
Can I?
I hope
finish the
you
story?
honor what you just gave as a caution to everyone, and I moved those words.
To tell you that those kind of lies, and you said those were lies, those kind of lies could be broadcast today on VOA, and you couldn't pick up the phone, Representative Stanton, and call them and say, hey, you're putting out lies about me.
What was the big deal? She expressed that someone made a story about the representative saying that he had a gay lover. And because she said that, all of a sudden, she had said something offensive that needed to be stricken from the record? What type of craziness is that? I thought it was okay to be gay. Is it not? Is it like, is it a, it's like the DEI thing, right? We must have DEI, but if we call somebody a DEI hire, it's offensive. Got to have it. He's a DEI hire. That's offensive. I don't know what. So do we want DEI or not? Yes, we need DEI. So he's a DEI hire. No, that's offensive. So we accept homosexuality. Absolutely. Someone said that you were gay. Wow, what is that? Are you trying to slander me? You're trying to defame me? All right, relax, buddy. I thought it was okay to be gay. Well, it's okay for them to be gay. Not me. I don't get it, but that's where we are. That's how insane this is. It's ridiculous, but that's where we are. I really couldn't believe that. Like he lost his ever-loving mind, shouting. I want that stricken from the record. Take a break. Let's get some weather and traffic and some news. John Silver, Jason Caterina, Mark Christopher, all in the BPS Traffic Center. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, Reese. Thank you. Traffic doing well, too, around Hartford. Westbound 84 is tied up just after 56 Governor Street up to 47. Sigourney 84 eastbound slows about a mile before 46 Assistant Avenue into the tunnel. Southbound 91 just a tap of the brakes at 32 A and B. And again, a little slow down bikes at 28 Hartford Weathersfield line. Easy Ride 91 northbound Cromwell up into Windsor. 291 through 84 OK. 2 westbound is slowing 1D up to the 84 West merge. 9 northbound tight Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 9 southbound slowing as you approach the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound Waterbury a little tight by 18. 84 westbound some slow traffic. 23 up to the Mixmaster. Heading down in toward New Haven. Southbound Parkway a little slow as you move down by the West Rock Tunnel. 95 south delays 46 to 44 as you move through New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
A heat advisory remains in effect through 7 p.m. this evening. Record-breaking temperatures on our Wednesday. Hot and humid with a thunderstorm in parts of the area. It could produce some localized damaging wind gusts. The high of 96. A thunderstorm in spots this evening. Otherwise, mostly cloudy. The low down to 68 tonight. Sweet relief from the extreme heat for the rest of the week. Starting on Thursday, it'll be cloudy with a shower in the area. The high dialed all the way back to 73. Overcast with a shower in spots on Thursday night, the low down to 62. Friday, cloudy, a shower in spots, the high back to 73. Then warmer as we make our way over the weekend, mostly cloudy, a thunderstorm in parts of the area on Saturday afternoon, the high of 81. A thunderstorm in spots on Saturday evening, otherwise cloudy, warm and humid, the low 69. Then warm and humid with a morning shower on Sunday, then a blend of sun and clouds for the afternoon, the high of 82. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese On The Radio.
Follow WTIC News Talk 1080. Don't miss out on important updates in Connecticut. From breaking need-to-know news, weather alerts, and more. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app now. And now, a WTIC News Update.
4:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. One more hot and steamy day in Connecticut. The heat advisory expires at 7. Then the temps will begin coming down, to feel a little more tolerable around here. We'll be in the 70s, as you heard, tomorrow and Friday. More witnesses called to the stand today. Milford Superior Court over the 2022 stabbing death of Fairfield prep teen Jimmy McGrath. He was stabbed to death in a melee that ensued at a house party in Shelton back in May of 2022. The now 19-year-old suspect, Raul Valley, has pleaded not guilty. Fairfield police say a man riding a moped was struck and killed by a vehicle last weekend. Person is identified as 25-year-old Juan Otilio Tista of Bridgeport. Police say he was hit in the area of the Post Road in Fairfield. They did recover the suspect vehicle and have tracked down the driver. Shelton police investigating the discovery of a dead male French bulldog found Tuesday, left in a bag on the stairs that lead up to the Little Barn restaurant in town on Bridgeport Avenue. State and local officials took the wraps off an ambitious plan to tie retail space with apartments and transportation hub in New Haven. 16-story towers, a couple of them going to be going up on unused state land near Union Station. Work on that set to begin in the fall of 2026. And the ceasefire between Israel and Iran appears to be holding. President Trump has asserted that U.S. and Iranian officials will talk next week. No word yet from Tehran. Wall Street, a mixed bag today. The Dow down 106 points. NASDAQ gained 61, and the S&P was down a fraction. Red Sox and Angels on the radio as we speak. Yanks will try to get one in Cincinnati tonight against the Reds, and the Mets will try to do likewise against the Braves at Citi Field. Eastern League, Yard Goats hosting New Hampshire, 7:10 on the Odyssey app, and in the WNBA, the Connecticut Sun out in Vegas. For these stories and more, keep it here at WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Do you know a veteran in need? After leaving the military, many veterans struggle to find their way home. Because to a veteran, home isn't just a place, it's an idea, a feeling. Nation's Finest understands the challenges veterans face. Through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, we help veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada. For more than 50 years, we've helped thousands of veterans in these communities build happy, healthy, and purposeful lives. And our team is committed to supporting those who've served and their families for another 50. To get help, visit nationsfinest.org or call 1-833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
Our critically injured veterans and first responders are left behind every day because of inadequate wheelchairs. That's why Wheelchairs for Warriors is on a mission to serve America's heroes across the nation and provide them with custom-fit wheelchairs, tailored to fit their needs to ensure they rejoin their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. From lightweight daily use chairs or adaptive sports chairs to all-terrain wheelchairs to get these warriors outdoors, Wheelchairs for Warriors serves those who served us. To join their mission, visit their website at wheelchairsforwarriors.org today.
Hey, it's Eric Erickson, letting you know you can now hear me weekdays, noon till 2, right here on WTIC. Now you can listen live every day. I'll cut through the talking points and get straight to the truth. I'm going to give you my unfiltered take on politics, culture, and faith, and cover all the news as it happens. Join me weekdays.
Is that church music?
It's the Eric Erickson Show on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
Let's do it.
Yes, you do. Stupid as can be. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
Stupidest thing I read today comes out of the Wichita Eagle. When your own U.S. reps and senators won't talk to you, borrow someone else's. This is coming from the Wichita Eagle. Who could they be talking about? Well, they're talking about none other than our very own Christoph Murphy of Connecticut. That's right. He and Maxwell Frost are on their nationwide tour, going across the country to talk to other people in other states. Maxwell Frost hasn't even been in Connecticut with Chris Murphy. I guess because he doesn't have to. They are telling us that this is an effort to help in the midterms for Democrats to be able to win in November of next year. my question is why are you going with Maxwell Frost? Nobody knows this kid. Nobody knows who he is. I tried to look up information on him, and the only thing I could find out is that once he was accused of being a member of Antifa. It turns out to be not true, but nonetheless, he's just as radical as those bozos. Why Maxwell Frost? And why are you both walking around looking like 10 speed in brown shoe? Why? Just why? I don't get it. Yeah, so the Wichita Eagle is bragging about, hey, we got a Florida and Connecticut congressperson coming to Kansas. Maybe Murphy is defecting. I don't get it, but sure enough, he's going everywhere. I guess he doesn't have to come to Connecticut, right? I mean, let's be honest. Connecticut is sewn up, right? Why be in Connecticut when there's no competition, right? There's no real competition. The news media is never going to hold them accountable. In fact, the only reason why I know this story is because it was in the Connecticut, what's it called? What's their that website called where they aggregate all the Connecticut newspapers? Yeah, Capitol Report. On the Capitol Report website where they have all of the news stories, I mean, they laud over Chris Murphy. They put up all the articles that celebrate Chris Murphy. There's this article about it. They put it right up. So it's no criticism of it. No one's saying, hey, Murphy, why aren't you here? So why bother? It's an absentee landlord. Doesn't have to be here. That's why. So, he's in Wichita. Good luck, guys. Let's get another check of weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you and to everyone. If you're heading into Hartford right now, you're on the southbound side of 91, just a little slow, 33 to 32 A&B, another bump down by 28. Easy ride, 91 northbound, Cromwell to Windsor. Westbound 84 is a little tight, approaching the Bulkley and East Hartford to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, sluggish. About a mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 2 westbound's a little slow as you merge with 84 west. Quiet, 291 through 84, 9 northbound, slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound in Cheshire, a little slow by 26. Again, 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Waterbury slowing by 18. 84 eastbound in Newtown, some delays 9 up to 11. If you are south 95 New Haven, slowing 46 to 43. In West Haven and southbound Parkway, a little tight as you move down by the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
All right, heat advisory until this evening, then a thunderstorm in spots this evening, otherwise mostly cloudy, the low down to 68. Sweet relief, not much of a rebound Thursday, cloudy, a shower in the area, much cooler, the high only 73 for us on Thursday. Thursday night, a shower in spots, the low down to 62. Cloudy, a shower in spots Friday, the high 73 again. Warmer Saturday with a thunderstorm in parts of the area during the afternoon, the high of 81. Sunday, warm and humid, a shower in spots, mix of sun and clouds for the afternoon, the high of 82. Right now, 90 in New London. It's 97 in New Haven, 90 for Waterbury, 95 in Hartford with the dew point at 68, puts the heat index right at 100 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with a sun protection factor, or SPF, of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. UVA rays age the skin, UVB rays burn, and both cause cancer. But the perfect sunscreen doesn't count if you use it wrong. Don't need sunscreen on a cloudy day? Wrong. 80% of UV rays still get through the haze. Only use sunscreen at the beach? Nope. Anytime you're outside, UV rays attack the skin, so you need protection. And you have to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio right here on News Talk 1080 WTIC. We'll get into Jasmine Crockett in a little bit. Also, we'll take your phone calls at 860-522 WTIC. We'll also see if we get any score. It's probably too early to get a score now. We'll check on that Red Sox score for you as well. Only reason why I'm even addressing this is because it was in the chat room, and I mentioned it when I played the Kerry Lake audio. And I said Democrats have a hard time figuring out what they're for, because when it's used against them, they're no longer for it, and then revert back and forth to it. It's confusing because it's meant to be, because they really don't believe in anything. And in the chat room, Bob says, as I was talking about DEI, right? You're supposed to have DEI, but you can't call somebody a DEI hire. To which Bob responded, DEI has nothing to do with hiring. Bob, what the hell are you talking about? It has everything to do with hiring. That's the point of DEI. Now, either you are playing stupid or you are. Everything that is DEI is about hiring. We need more black teachers. How do you get them? You hire them. We need more black pilots. How do you do that? You hire them. We need more black scientists. How do you do that? You hire them. Right? Now, that may not apply to colleges or universities, but every aspect of DEI means that we have to have every institution be a reflection of our population. So every industry must have 13 to 14% black, 21% Latino. What, should it be 4% Asian? Or is it 6? I think it's 6 now. Right? And if that's supposed to be everywhere, you can't tell me that it has nothing to do, it has everything to do with hiring. Which is again why you're disingenuous. Which is again why nobody believes you or listens to you. You don't even understand the debate. Diversity, equity, and inclusion means that everybody gets the same opportunities as white folks. That's all it means. Okay? Sugar-coated, try to confuse us. Nobody's that dumb. The objective is, and the premise is always, white folks have everything. Let's spread the wealth around. And in arguing that, instead of having these institutions reflect the population of the United States, it always turns out that it's more than the other. I'll give you a great example. What did CBS do last year or the year before when it came to its writing staff for all television sitcoms? Do you know? I do. CBS put out a memo that every real journalist got a hold of that said that 50% of its writers had to be African American. Even if the subject matter, meaning the stars of the sitcom or the storylines of the sitcom, were of groups that they were not a part of. It was not a suggestion. It was a mandate. Now, would you consider that reflective of the population? No. That's called restorative justice. That's how that works. Now, if we'd have said, or if you would have put out a report that says, we are embracing DEI, and then we found out that someone was hired at CBS to be a writer, after they put the initiative out to have DEI instituted in their writing staff, and I called that writer, Joe Schmo, a DEI hire, and he looked at me and said that I was hurling an insult at him, what would I say? What would I say? That's not my fault, buddy. That's yours. You demanded DEI. You got hired by DEI. And now you don't want to be called it. You demand affirmative action, but you don't want to be called an affirmative action hire. So perhaps that we should knock it off. If you don't like it, if you think that it's a slur, and you want to be recognized for your merit or the merit of that position, perhaps you should be hired by it. Don't ask for a leg up and then be mad when somebody points it out to you. Oh, you got there through a leg up. You didn't really earn it. I mean, you just kind of showed up black. Right? I mean, that's the thing that liberals say about me, isn't it? The only reason why Reese On The Radio is on WTIC is because, hey, they found a black guy who talks like them. Right? I'm a DEI hire all day. Guess what I never care about? I never care about that. I don't even care about the N-word. And I'm dead serious. The reason why you're so offended by it is because there's a little bit of truth behind it. It's the only reason why you would ever get angry. The DEI thing upsets you. You demand it, but you don't want to be called it. You demand it, but you don't want anybody else to call it. You know that Kamala Harris and Ketanji Brown Jackson were DEI hires, but how dare you call them that? Don't you dare. Nah, you won't get off that easy. You won't. AT says, the premise is that no one should be valued or devalued according to their demographic group. How do you implement that, AT? How do you implement it? Do you know how? I bet you don't. AT also says, that's not true, Reese. DEI is about valuing each individual for what they bring to the party. You have obviously never gone through DEI training. Are you kidding me? You don't think I had to go through DEI training? Really? Perhaps you didn't. I know exactly what DEI training is. DEI training is not what you're talking about. See, this is where you guys get yourselves into a pickle, right? You literally paint yourself into a corner. No one's talking about DEI training. People are talking about DEI hires. And what I said about the CBS mandate is that if you say that you are implementing DEI into your hiring practice, and then in the subtext you say 50% of your writing staff are to be black, what have you done here? You've associated your hiring with a platform. DEI, black staff. That's the association. It's real simple. It's deduction, my friend. Simple deduction. You just don't want to adhere. You just don't want to accept that. You want to come up with every excuse in the book. The premise is that no one should be valued or devalued according to their demographic group. How do you know that that happened? How do you know that two people who walked in of two different races, and you looked at their qualifications and said, I got to be honest, this guy looks like he brings more to the table. He's white. I'm hiring him. Looks like he has a lot more experience, really understands the job, seems like he's done his research. I'm hiring him. Am I supposed to look at the black guy and I go, yeah, you don't have as much experience as the white guy, but you know what? I don't want to be called racist. So I'll jeopardize my own bottom line and hire somebody who doesn't know the job or doesn't know it as well as the person I could have hired. Let me do that. That makes a whole bunch of sense. Which, again, it's like talking to a bunch of knuckleheads who've never run a business, which is so obvious when you make these ridiculous, dare I say, dumb comments. You would never hire a person who didn't have the experience. You would hire the person who best suits your needs and what you require for the position. And you would absolutely ignore the color of their skin. If 100 guys walk into the room and you've got to hire 50 of them, and 50 of the guys who are the most desirable people for you to hire all end up being Asian, do you look at it and you just go, I didn't hire enough black guys, but all these Asian guys were so great. They all knew the job. They were all excited to work here. I really got along with them. Are you going to tell one of them, I really do want to hire you, but I haven't hired any blacks this week? Really? Really? Do you know why you sound dumb? It's just, again, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. It's just stupid. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. It's like literally, it's like talking to a brick wall. It's just dumb. What's up, Rudy? How are you?
Hey, I didn't call about DEI.
I don't care. That's fine.
I want to talk about it real quick, but do you still do area grievances?
Oh, yeah, Friday, yes.
All right, so I got to come at you early, but DEI, all right, let's face it, radio, it's called Who Will Work for the Cheapest right now.
That's not fair.
Well, you've heard of Hall Communications, right?
No, I haven't. No, I don't know why I haven't, but
they have stations in Rhode Island, Connecticut.
Okay.
It's like 100-year-old company. They're now headquartered in Lakeland because their founder, Florida. And I talked to his grandson, who's actually in his late 60s.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he says, right, because we have a local station here that has local hosts.
Yeah.
And they're turning it all over to syndication because it's cheaper.
Right.
They're losing money. Right. So right now it's like, who will work for the cheapest? I'm not trying to insult you.
No.
But,
Actually, that model, and don't get me wrong, I understand it, and I understood it a long time ago. The way you're phrasing it is a little inflammatory, but I know why you're framing it that way, because I get your mindset is because it does, as far as you're concerned.
And Odyssey, in your case, Odyssey owns all the big name shows, but
right.
I was actually a DEI basketball player
back
in the day. I went to a pretty wealthy all-white prep school on a scholarship out of Chicago to Rhode Island. The team was all black. There was only 2 white guys on the team.
Wow. So you were like a Larry Bird in Boston.
Right. So I actually started my whole career there. I was co-captain. I mean, I earned it. I actually beat out a tall forward. I was a point guard, shooting guard, but I beat out to start a guy that was from the Bronx.
Oh, wow.
Who was like you. He was a 2-story house without a staircase. All he could do, he blocked shots and rebounded, but he had no offense.
Right.
And we played, do you remember the Louisville team from the 80s, that run and gun team?
Yes.
That's how our coach had us going. So a big guy that couldn't get up and down the court, but he could rebound and block.
Yeah.
He kind of came in when we were going in defensive mode to lock a game down.
Sure.
So they called me white bread. That's what they call. So that was my DI moment. But my grievance.
Yes.
I do not know what you did. But your girlfriend is blowing me up with messages.
What do you mean? Oh, you said my girlfriend. I'm trying to figure out, my girlfriend. I'm like, Roseanne doesn't know
Tim
who you are.
from Wallingford is upset that you've released your inappropriate relationship with him and called him your boyfriend. What happened? 'Cause
Okay, all I said was, and I'll play the audio for you before we go to break. So here's the audio.
Before I go off on him, I want to know your side of the story. There's two sides to every story.
Here's what happened. So Carrie Lake was at a congressional hearing today, and she was talking about the Voice of America, and she was saying that if Voice of America says something slanderous about you, you have no recourse because then you've broken a contract and you could get in trouble. So they're allowed to say whatever they want, right, with no repercussions. And so she talks about someone at Voice of America who had smeared a congressman saying that he had a gay lover. It went like this.
They could literally put out a lie about anybody here. And I know you've been the victim of that. I know you've been the victim. I remember the stories about you where they said you had a gay lover, and those were going
Mr.
out
Chairman.
Can I
I
finish
hope
the
you
story?
honor what you just gave as a caution to everyone, and I moved those words.
To tell you that those kind of lies, and you said those were lies,
Yeah, now he's saying, I want those stricken from the record. She didn't say he was gay. She said that there was a story that was a smear against him, saying he had a gay lover, and he immediately took offense at the idea of somebody being called gay. I said, that's so typical. They don't want DEI. They don't want to be called DEI, but they want DEI. They want everybody to accept gay, but don't call them.
How did Tim become your boyfriend then?
Okay, so weeks ago, one day, I mean, it was months ago, in fact, we were talking, and he and I were going back and forth, and I was telling him, I said, listen, Tim, I love you. I just want to let you know that I really love you every time you call. I know a lot of people give me trouble, but you know what? I'm going to make you my boyfriend by the time. And I was just saying that in jest. That's all it was that I'm going to make you my boyfriend. Well, that turned into...
Was this before or after we got him outed?
No, this was before. And this is, again, he has been harping on the fact that I said this about him. Ever since I said it, I went, wait a minute. I thought you were somebody who supported homosexuality and wanted it normalized. You didn't want it, it's not a smear to say, I'm going to make you my boyfriend. What's the deal? He started
I've been listening to Tim since 2013 on the Jim Weissman show. He's the biggest advocate, protector of, of gays and transgender. And then he even came out on your show.
That's your term, not mine. But when I said it,
everybody heard it.
I know.
I saved the recording.
I know. But I said, in saying that and him being so outraged by it, is my immediate view was, wait a minute. So I said I want to make you my boyfriend, and I've slurred you in some way. Like, I thought being gay was okay. There was no problem with that. What would you be offended by? And
remember, Reese, when he said that you were homophobic against him.
Yes.
That's admitting that
exactly.
You're bashing him for being gay, and he does not like the fact that you're homophobic against.
Couldn't agree more. If there's ever an admission, there it is. And not that I need him to admit. Or as Seinfeld would say, not that there's anything wrong with that.
I don't care. If he putts from the rough, that's his business.
That's my point.
If he drinks sweet tea, that's his business.
You're going. Get out of here. You're more trouble than I need, Rudy. Let's take a break. We'll be back. Got traffic and weather. Jason Caterina's got weather. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now and you're on the southbound side of I-91, just a little slow, 33 down to 32 A and B, and again down by exit 28. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound slows a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue down to the Bulkley Bridge. East of the river, a little slow, between 58 and 59 on the East Hartford-Manchester line. 291 through 84, okay, 2 eastbound moving well, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound's a little slow in Middletown, Arbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. And again, 9 northbound slowing by 34 in New Britain. 84 eastbound, Waterbury tight by exit to 18. If you're traveling on the eastbound side of Aurora in Cheshire, a little slow by the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 is sluggish, 23 into the Mixmaster in Waterbury. If you're heading down toward New Haven, the southbound side of 95 slows 46 down to 43. Northbound 91, you're going to see some slow traffic in North Haven as you move up just after exit 9 up to exit 11 in North Haven. And look out if you're traveling through Wethersfield right now. Route 3 Maple Street on the northbound side shut down near Hewitt Street because of an accident involving a tractor trailer. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
A heat advisory remains in effect until 7 p.m. this evening. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds, record-breaking temperatures, hot and humid with a thunderstorm in parts of the area that could produce some localized damaging wind gusts, the high 96. A thunderstorm in spots this evening, otherwise mostly cloudy, the low down to 68. Sweet relief from the heat from the rest of the week. Cloudy with a shower in the area Thursday, the high 73. Friday, cloudy with a shower in spots, the high again of 73. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
5 o'clock, Hartford, temperature 94 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. President Trump says U.S. officials will talk sometime next week with Iran now that the war with Israel is over.
President Trump insists those U.S. airstrikes did devastate Iran's nuclear capability. And if you don't believe him, he suggests, ask the Iranians.
Just came that Iran's foreign ministry spokesman, this is Iran's foreign minister, says its nuclear installations were very badly damaged by the American strikes.
Insisting to reporters gathered at the NATO summit in The Hague, the Iranians won't rebuild because, quote, they've had it.
No response yet from Tehran about when those talks would take place. Also at the NATO summit, NATO's chief hailing an alliance today to boost defense spending.
With this plan, allies have agreed to invest 5% of GDP in defense. This is a significant commitment in response to significant threats to our security.
Ukraine's president at the summit also said he discussed a ceasefire with Russia with President Trump on the sidelines earlier today. Well, the heat on again for millions in the eastern U.S. Temps in the 90s, heat indices triple digits.
We've got 120 or so million people still within heat warnings or advisories, and we've got temperatures that are going to be very, well, oppressive again for the mid-Atlantic, for the mid-South. It'll feel like 109 in Raleigh, Columbia, South Carolina, 104 in Birmingham, 104 in Cincinnati, and still feeling like 100 degrees in D.C. and here in New York City. A bit of relief coming on the way of the heat dome shrinking tomorrow.
It's Rob Marciano reporting, and in this hot weather, a case of animal abandonment to report in Branford. The nonprofit Branford Compassion Club says it's taken in 3 kittens and 1 male cat that were found in a taped cardboard box in town on Tuesday. Felines are being treated by a local vet and are recovering. Big plans in store for an area around New Haven's Union Station. State and local officials today announcing a multi-million-dollar development project linking the community to the station. The plan is to build a pair of 16-story towers that will feature retail and hundreds of apartments, a quarter of which will be affordable. Governor Lamont says it's an ambitious proposal.
Because a lot of it you can walk, a lot of it you can go right over to Union Station. Union Station is in many ways the transportation hub of the state. Easy access to Stamford and New London and Hartford and beyond. That's why I'm so proud to see the growth going on here.
Total cost of the project will be around $316 million. Work is expected to begin in the fall of 2026. Researchers at the Connecticut Agricultural Experiment Station reported one of the earliest detections of West Nile virus in Connecticut in 25 years this week when they announced mosquitoes trapped in Bridgeport tested positive. Medical experts say it's unusual but not wholly unexpected. As for the another serious mosquito-borne illness, Eastern equine encephalitis, typically shows up later in the season, if at all. Dr. Greg Buller, chief of medicine at Bridgeport Hospital, says serious cases are rare.
It has a higher mortality rate. Fortunately, again, it is really uncommon. The majority of people, again, may not show any symptoms at all, but there is a small number who have life-threatening illness to a greater degree, certainly, than West Nile.
Buller says the best way to prevent disease, limit outdoor activity when the mosquitoes are as prevalent, and use repellent. On Wall Street, the Dow down 106 points today. NASDAQ gained 61, and the S&P was down a fraction. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Who do I wrestle for? I wrestle on my high school team for Jason Garcia, my fiercest competitor during practice and my biggest fan during meets. I wrestle for my parents who practice what they preach, the importance of hard work, commitment, and dedication. I wrestle for the chance to put our little high school right here in Connecticut on the map.
Wearing the uniform of your high school comes with a big responsibility. Younger kids look up to you. Your teammates count on you. And the reputation of your high school depends on you. Do you have what it takes to participate in a high school sport?
And I wrestle for the glory that is mine when I do my best. That's who I wrestle for.
This message presented by the Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Conference and the Connecticut Association of Athletic Directors.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We'll be back. More news, more views, and of course your comments inside the chat room. If you wish to opine, just go to reasonoradio.com and you can watch the show there and you can put in comments. I've got my usual Blacktivists in the house today. I love the Blacktivists. The Blacktivists are impressive because they don't understand or don't know what the term groupthink means, or the hive mind, or the Borg. They don't understand it at all, and it's primarily because thinking outside of the hive mind will get you excommunicated. And the only thing that draws them out of that is people who speak for themselves or believe what they believe outside of the hive mind. Like they are drawn to that like a moth to a flame. They don't understand it. They're always so. There's a guy by the name of Jay Ryle, and I'll tell this story real quick. I'll never forget it. It was during the Trayvon Martin debate back in 2013. And I was in this podcast in California, and we were going back over it. And my point of view was, having read all the information, I gathered all of it. I read the Reuters article about what was happening in the complex where Trayvon was shot and killed, how George Zimmerman became the neighborhood watchman, the events that took place beforehand. And Reuters did this interview talking to the neighbors in that community and how that perfect storm took place. And I read that article. No one else had. They had only saw or knew what they saw on CNN or MSNBC or the local news. Matt Guzman from ABC News even tweeted the day after Trayvon was killed. He tweeted, Trayvon Martin killed by George Zimmerman because he was black. The body was still cold. Nobody knew why he'd shot him, but I had read all the information. And in this debate with this guy, someone says to me, because I refused to agree with the narrative, he said to me, I cannot believe that he thinks this way and he's black. Never forget that. That moment opened my eyes, not about me, but about the hive mind. I cannot believe he thinks that way and he's black. Learned a lot. We'll come back. More news, more views. But let's get your traffic and weather. I know it's the last day of the scorcher. Jason Caterina's got weather. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. We seen anything, Mark, with the road sort of like melting? I saw this video the other day where the guy did you see it, where he was driving and the road like made a ramp and the guy just popped up in the air on it because it was crazy. It's gone viral, where he was driving and the heat was so hot it made the
road buckle.
Buckle. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And has it gotten that bad out there? Have we seen anything like that?
I haven't seen anything like that yet, but hopefully,
yeah.
I mean, it should start to cool off around 8 o'clock, so hopefully the roads can stay intact for another 3 hours.
Indeed.
If you are heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91, it looks like it's a little bit tight, 33 down to 32 A and B, and again down by exit 28. Northbound 91's okay, Cromwell through downtown Hartford up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is a little tight as you move up on the Bulkley Bridge up to 47. Circuiting 84 eastbound, some slow traffic 46 into the tunnel. Another minor slowdown up by exit 59 into 384 interchange. 291, 384, okay, 2 eastbound's looking good. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound again in Berlin slowing 32 to 34 in New Britain. 84 eastbound Waterbury slowing by 18. And again, as you push down by the 691 interchange, westbound 84 is tight 23 to the Mixmaster. Southbound on the Parkway, slow traffic 60 into the West Rock. 95 south slowing 46 to 44. 91 northbound delays North Haven from 9 up to exit 11. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
I saw that video, dude. The road actively buckles right in front of him, and he all Dukes of Hazzard it over top of it. It's bananas. Be careful out there. Indeed, Reese, the last day of the extreme heat for us. We'll get some relief here as we head through the rest of the week. Tonight, a thunderstorm in spots this evening, otherwise mostly cloudy. The low down to 68. Cloudy, a shower in the area as we head through our Thursday, but relief from the extreme heat. The high only 73 for us. A shower in spots Thursday night, the low 62. Cloudy, a shower in spots again Friday. The high again 73 for us. Warmer Saturday, a thunderstorm in parts of the area for the afternoon. Of course, it's the weekend. The high of 81. A thunderstorm in spots Saturday evening, otherwise the low 69. Sunday, humid, warm, A shower in spots. Cloudy morning, then sunny clouds for the afternoon, the high of 82. Currently, it is 90 in Waterbury, also in New London. It's 99 in New Haven and 93 in Hartford, with the dew point at 68, puts the heat index at 97 in Hartford right now. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC weather.
Need good tech advice?
Must be a computer error.
.com award-winning Computer Talk with Tab. Saturday mornings 9 to 11 on WTIC News Talk 1080. God, I love technology. Eric Semmel and Dennis Howland of Tab Computer Systems will keep you updated with tech news you can use and answer your technology questions live on the air. Miss a program? Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and tune in from anywhere via the Odyssey app. Computer Talk with Tab. Saturday mornings on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All the audio that matters to you is on Odyssey. Odyssey has news that hits home in your local area and around the country. Get local news, traffic, and weather from stations near you. Get national news from CNN, Fox News Radio, and more. And explore the biggest news podcasts. The Daily Punch, Pod Save America, and The Daily, AUDACY. Find all the news that matters to you in a universe of audio. Odyssey.
Reese on the Radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Drop it. Thank you. We'll get into the phones and the all of the other stuff. I got Jasmine Crockett news. Also,
Hey, Reese.
Yeah, what you got?
Last night,
Yeah.
about 11:28 p.m.,
Okay.
in the midst of watching my show.
What's your show?
Well, one of the shows I'm watching, The Riverfront, that just came out on Netflix.
Oh, okay. All right. I haven't heard of it.
It's supposed to be a bootleg Ozark, but it doesn't even compare.
Okay.
But it's a good show, but it's not that.
Gotcha.
Everything went out. All the lights went out in my house.
Really?
Everything just went out. Right. I'm like, what's going on? Because it's hot, so we have the ACs on.
Right.
So I'm thinking it's a overload.
Right.
And then I look outside. My whole street is pitch black dark.
Really?
Yeah, the whole street, the surrounding is like 4 or 5 streets. Plus we live right down the street from the police station.
Oh.
So all of that is just out. I was like, what is going on? Call Eversource. They say, oh, we evaluating the situation. Whatever that means. And I guess this morning, and it was out for like 4 hours.
Wow.
To like maybe like 3:45. We in there baking.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, I'm just gonna go in my car, turn it on, and just relax, put my seat back, and just let the AC hit me. But kept getting cold towels. Somebody ran off the road at drunk driver.
Really?
And took a whole pole out.
Just
the
one
entire
pole.
Took the entire pole out, and that took down the wires and everything.
Damn.
Yeah.
And that's a Tuesday night. Who's out drinking on a Tuesday? For the love of Pete, dude, wait until Friday. Or
Yeah,
even
Thursday,
Thursday,
Friday, yeah.
Thursday, Thursday. That's what they used to do at the nightclubs. Have the Thursday. That's crazy.
I'm like, how fast do you have to be going to pull a whole pole out of the ground?
Exactly.
On a regular street that's 35 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah, he had to be doing a considerable rate of speed. Yeah. That's insane. Well, I'm glad only 4 hours in the middle of the night. So
yeah, that was only because I knew it was because we was right close to the police station, which I like because they have to get their stuff back first.
I hope you know that most crimes happen within 10 miles of the police station.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of druggies walking around all the time.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Wow. All right, be careful, man, out there. You got to be careful. I'm glad everything's back up. Yeah, that would bother the heck out of me.
Yeah, we was baking last night. It was an oven.
Yeah, it's just not the season for that. This is the reason why you got to get a generator. You just do. I see one every day, and I say to myself, I got to do it. I know.
You don't have one yet?
No, I know. I got to get one. I got to get one. Because I look at them and I keep saying to myself, I'm sorry, I'm a bit of a miser. And I'll look at it something and I go, I need to justify that cost. I buy T-shirts all the time. We went to this weekend to this place. There was nothing but T-shirts. I found out the T-shirts were $25 a piece, which is actually okay.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good rate. so my wife saw 3 of them. She was like, oh, get these 3. And I look at her and I was like, no, they're $25 a piece. She was like, is that too much money for you? And I'm like, yeah, I can't justify $75. I can't. I'm like that. Now, mind you, you think this is crazy, right? This is what happened. And I'm going to tell a story out of school. God, I shouldn't say this, but I'm still going to do it. Anyway, so we bought the T-shirts. She talked me into buying the T-shirts, and we're walking because it's an old German town that we're walking through. And she sees this little boutique, and it's got a dress outside, and she sees it. She goes, oh, that dress is really, really nice. And I said, do you want to go in and try it on? She goes, sure. So she goes in, and I see this woman there, very attractive, like middle-aged woman. She had to be about in the 40s, 50s. I said to her, yeah, can you find this dress for my wife? It's in the window. So she goes, sure. I said, this young lady is going to help you find the dress. So she goes, owner. And I went, oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Finds her the dress. My wife puts it on. She comes out. She looks fantastic in it. I look at her and I go, you know what? My wife made me buy a $75 worth of shirts. Why not? I will reciprocate by buying her this little flowy summer dress. Ma'am, how much is the dress?
$300.
$250.
Yeah.
$250. Now, mind you, now again, remember the $75. I had a problem even buying. I'll tell you what got the $250 dress out of the boutique. You want to know how it happened? Here's exactly what happened. I know that people are going to make fun of me. I didn't want to look bad in front of the woman who owned the store.
Exactly.
I did not want to look like a miter. My pride said, how can I not buy my wife a $250 dress in front of this woman? I'm going to look like a cheapskate.
Yep.
So my wife's already got it on, and I'm sitting there going, of course, honey, you can have that. Of course you can. And that's the reason why I did it. Yeah.
It's just crazy how that works.
It's crazy. Craig said, you just got the female okey doke. Richard A said, she owes you 8 more shirts. I couldn't agree.
Facts.
I couldn't agree more.
Facts.
And now, mind you, all of this isn't. Now, here's the crazy part about it, right? So Friday's show, you guys know it's ladies' night here, and Roseanne was here on the show. A guy on YouTube in the chat room says the thing that has been irking me ever since he said it. In the chat room, I was wearing, on Friday's show, I was wearing a T-shirt that she got me that said husband. It's one of the grunt-style shirts that says husband. The only reason why I wear the shirt is because I'm proud to be my wife's husband, and she bought it for me, so I like it. But he saw the shirt, and he said, you're so beta wearing that shirt, which in essence means, I'm henpecked. That he goes, you annoy me just as much as guys who have bumper stickers that say, I love my wife. But I wasn't wearing it for that. I was wearing that because I'm proud to be my wife's husband. And him calling me a beta male really got to me. And I'm like, and then I get this dress, and I see, and I'm next thing I'm spending $250 on it, and I just go, like, why did I do that? I could have said no. Why? I don't know this woman. I don't even have to see her again. Why did I buy it? I still don't know why.
Yeah, you just didn't want to be,
I didn't want to look like a chump.
Yeah, you want to be a little bitch in front of her. That's what it came down to.
Yeah, that's primarily what it came to. I looked horrible. I looked really, really bad. Just I don't know. She got the dress. I got my T-shirts. But I think I'm with you, Richard A. I do need to get 8 more T-shirts.
Yeah.
Just to make it right. Just to make it right.
Or something,
Something comparable.
Something that you really, really want. Like.
Yeah.
She can go out there and surprise you one day and get it to you.
I do need a new mixer board. I will tell you.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I need a new mixer board.
Yeah, but that's a little bit more than $250.
Yes, it is. It's double that. At least the one that I want.
Yeah.
That is definitely the one I want. Did we get a score yet? I didn't even look up a score. Let me get the Red Sox score.
It's 2.
Do you have it?
2-1.
2-1. Red Sox.
Red Sox bottom 4th.
Oh, bottom of the 4th. Oh wow. So they're gonna go. Yeah, they're gonna go late tonight.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely gonna go late tonight. All right. Well, at least and what's their? Damn, are they still under 500?
They were tied at one point.
No. I mean, the Red Sox are at 40 and 41. So 40
so
40
they
wins,
need
41.
to win. They need to win tonight to
be 500.
Be 500. Yeah.
Yeah. Goodness gracious. And they're playing against a team with 39-40. They're barely. They'll be 500 if they win tonight. So
it's the battle of the trash cans.
That's primarily it. Anyway, yeah, bottom of the 4th. And Angels just scored, so now it's 2-2. So I don't know. We'll keep you posted. We'll see where it goes in. I want to say this because this is going on inside the chat room about Bob is in the chat room talking about the George Zimmerman Trayvon Martin story. And I want to bring this up. I got a couple of minutes before we go to break. There is a lot of stories about that people forget. And I remember getting into this argument at the hardware store and the barber shop. While this years after this had all been litigated, George Zimmerman had gone to trial and, he was acquitted. But there were people who were still very outraged about this. And so I implored people, you may have heard earlier, I mentioned a Reuters article about the complex that George Zimmerman lived in and how Trayvon Martin ended up there, and the events that took place before and after. So I want to take a couple of minutes to give people, one, a synopsis of what this article, talked about. And you should go look it up yourself. Maybe I'll find it and I'll post it on my Facebook page. But just to give some people and why, again, as somebody Bob wrote into the chat room, he says, as a black man, you should have been more sensitive to the killing of a 17-year-old boy by a grown man. And I am going to say, Bob, clearly, you do not know the story. You only know the outline. So I'm going to take a moment so I can convey it to you so you know better. When I said that the events that happened on that date in February of 2013, it was the perfect storm because it was. And the Reuters article lays it out. Reuters had the audacity to go into Sanford, Florida, and talk to people who lived in this subdivision where Trayvon Martin's dad's girlfriend lived. Trayvon was not living there. He was not a resident. He was sent there because his father was put in charge of him because he had been suspended from school. Why was he suspended from school? Because he was caught with not only marijuana, but with burglary devices and women's gold jewelry, right? So he was a thief stealing women's jewelry, and he was suspended for that when they went into his backpack and found out he had done these things. His mother, being frustrated with him, sent him to his father. His father had a girlfriend who lived in the apartment complex that George Zimmerman also resided in, where George Zimmerman's parents lived. And on the night in question, Trayvon Martin's dad and the girlfriend were out. Trayvon was at that home with his brother. Excuse me. And there was the some all-star break, I think, was happening at the time. I'm almost certain that's when it was. Anyway, so he'd gone out to the store. Apparently on his walk, Trayvon Martin was smoking marijuana, which a lot of people know. THC was in his system. And he was going to the store, the 7-Eleven, to go pick up Arizona iced tea, watermelon flavor, and Skittles. Does anybody know what those two things or in that generation was used for? Watermelon, Arizona tea, and Skittles. Roland, I'm sure you're old enough to remember what two of those ingredients are for. Do you remember? You probably don't. It is for an intoxicant called lean. The third ingredient is Robitussin cough syrup. That's what Trayvon was going to the store to go get. How do I know this? Because I paid attention and I read every detail there was to this story. What they don't tell you is that during the time that Trayvon was at that apartment complex, there had been break-in robberies into the homes in that subdivision, in that apartment complex. People have broken into people's homes while they were inside of them. One particular incident was very personal to George Zimmerman. That particular incident was a neighbor of theirs was a woman who had a 6-month-old child that lived next door to George Zimmerman and his wife at the time. And two young men broke into the home, scaring the hell out of that woman, who to the point where she had to hide in a closet with a phone to call police while they ransacked her home. She was scared to death that she would be robbed, if not killed. Two workers who was on a roof across the street watched it all take place and never called the police. Never. And watched as those young men, young black men, broke into that woman's home and put her life in danger. George Zimmerman met with that woman, told her that if she was ever in trouble, to go to his wife's house and stay there because she's home going to school from home. Because of these break-ins, everybody in the community was outraged by them because no one was doing anything about it and the police weren't showing up. And they were looking for volunteers, the police department was, and no one wanted to take the job except for George Zimmerman. Now, mind you, all of that is happening, and then the night Trayvon Martin is walking through the neighborhood, George Zimmerman is following him and sees a stranger walking from house to house when they know that there have been break-ins daily in the neighborhood. Perfect storm. Perfect storm. And then when George Zimmerman goes to follow him, Trayvon runs around one of the houses because he thinks he's being followed. But what does Trayvon believe that he's being followed for? To be attacked, if not molested. How do we know that? Rachel Gentile, during the trial, said that on the stand. Do you remember it? I sure do. She told Trayvon, be careful, he could be a pedophile trying to rape you. And then he said to her, stop playing, and ran around the house trying to get away from him, and then confronts George Zimmerman. Do you know that part of the story? I do. Why don't you? It's all part of the public record. I bet you didn't look it up. I bet you're just hearing it for the first time now that I told you. I know the story like the back of my hand. You don't. You just know the outrage parts. You just know the parts where someone tells you, be mad here, express outrage here. Because you're a part of groupthink. You're only supposed to have the reaction that they tell you to, or that you think you're supposed to have. But me, having gathered all the information, I don't care about outrage. I don't even have an emotional tie to any of this. The only thing I care about are the facts. I don't inject myself into the stories. I just report them. That's what I do here. And I give my opinion when necessary, but I don't make it about me. You didn't even know what Trayvon Martin's favorite color was. I bet you I know that. I bet you don't even know what he used to do at school. Do you know what position he played on the football team? I do. Do you? I bet you don't even know the color of the clothing he was wearing. I do. I know the weather conditions of that day. I bet you don't. I do. Speaking of weather, let's get to Jason Caterina and traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, overall, not a bad ride. Things are okay out here. If you're on the southbound side of I-91, you're going to see some slow traffic as you move from exit 33 down to 32 A and B. Another slowdown by exit 28. Northbound side of 91, easy ride. Cromwell, that's a little slow up by 33 Jennings Road in Hartford. After that, moving well up into Windsor. Westbound 84, slows approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, tied up 46 Sisson Avenue to the Bulkley. You'll lose some speed again between 58 and 59 on the East Hartford-Manchester line. 2 westbound, East Hartford slowing 1D. Up to the 84 West merge, heading into Middletown 9 northbound, slowing Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound in Waterbury, you're slow from 26 up to exit 22 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound, some slow traffic by 18. And again, 84 eastbound sluggish, 26 down to the 691 interchange. If you are heading down in toward New Haven, a little slowdown as you move between 60 and 59 in New Haven, and 95 southbound delays 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
A heat advisory remains in effect until 7 p.m. this evening. Hot and humid for us, record-breaking temperatures on our Wednesday. A thunderstorm in parts of the area that could produce some localized damaging wind gusts, the high of 96. A thunderstorm in spots this evening, otherwise mostly cloudy, the low down to 68. Sweet relief from the extreme heat for the rest of the week. Cloudy skies on Thursday, a shower in the area, the high dialed back to 73. Then cloudy with a shower in spots Friday, the high back to 73. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
94 degrees at 5:30. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. And as you heard in the forecast there, the searing heat comes to an end. The heat advisory expires at 7. After that, temperatures will begin falling. We'll head back into the 60s, the upper 60s tonight, and then low 70s tomorrow and on Friday. Firefighter was injured. 4 families displaced during a Tuesday fire in Norwalk. A blaze broke out in a multi-family home on Godfrey Street. No word yet on a cause. A Brantford nonprofit says 3 kittens and an adult cat were found in a taped cardboard box. They made the find in town on Tuesday. The felines are all now undergoing treatment at a local veterinarian and are expected to recover. Zoran Mamdani has claimed victory over Andrew Cuomo in New York City's Democratic mayoral primary. 33-year-old progressive upstart will now face the task of defeating the incumbent Eric Adams, who is running as an independent, and Republican Curtis Sliwa. The investigation continues into a fatal crash last weekend that left a moped rider dead in Fairfield. Police say that the vehicle that struck 25-year-old Juan Otilio Tista left the scene on Post Road. Tista died in an area hospital. Officers do say they were able to track down the suspect vehicle and its driver. President Trump insisting that U.S. strikes delivered a crushing blow to Iran's nuclear program, despite preliminary American intel assessments suggesting the assault inflicted only a marginal setback. Trump says talks are in the works with Iran. Dow finished down 106 points today. The Nasdaq gained 61. S&P was down a fraction.
Not this one.
Red Sox baseball on the radio as we speak. Yanks are in Cincinnati. Try to get one against the Reds tonight. The Mets have been in a funk, too. They'll try to right the ship against the Braves. Eastern League, the Yard Goats at Duncan hosting New Hampshire. That's 7:10 on the Odyssey app. And in the WNBA, it's been a tough season for the Connecticut Sun so far. They'll try to see if they can change that when they play Vegas tonight. For these stories and more, keep it here, WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
All the audio that matters to you is on Odyssey. Odyssey has news that hits home in your local area and around the country. Get local news, traffic, and weather from stations near you. Get national news from CNN, Fox News Radio, and more. And explore the biggest news podcasts like The Daily Punch, Pod Save America, and The Daily, AUDACY. Find all the news that matters to you in a universe of audio. Odyssey.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080.
Our critically injured veterans responders are left behind every day because of inadequate wheelchairs. That's why Wheelchairs for Warriors is on a mission to serve America's heroes across the nation and provide them with custom-fit wheelchairs, tailored to fit their needs to ensure they rejoin their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. From lightweight daily use chairs or adaptive sports chairs to all-terrain wheelchairs to get these warriors outdoors, Wheelchairs for Warriors serves those who served us. To join their mission, visit their website at wheelchairsforwarriors.org today.
Need good tech advice?
Must be a computer error.
Tune into the Gold.com award-winning Computer Talk with Tab. Saturday mornings 9 to 11 on WTIC News Talk 1080.
God, I love technology.
Eric Semmel and Dennis Howland of Tab Computer Systems will keep you updated with tech news you can use and answer your technology questions live on the It's a program. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and tune in from anywhere via the Odyssey app. Computer Talk with Tab. Saturday mornings on WTIC News Talk 1080. Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
When we get back, we'll talk about this Jasmine Crockett thing, you know, with all of the talk about her being the leader of the Democrat Party, even though she's polling behind Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. But this recent vote about someone being someone supposed to head up the ranking member of the Oversight Committee, if there was ever a blow that came from her own folks, whoo, boy, this is pretty bad. Reading some of the comments in there, I didn't know that I would get bashed for buying my wife a dress, but apparently I'm too privileged to do that. Aside from the fact that I worked part-time here at WTIC for 3 years, to which my wife had to suffer. so that I could become a member of this institution, to buy her a $250 dress. She earned it. She earned it. And plus, I was too much of a sucker to not buy it. Also, Zappa says in the chat room, you got to stop shopping with your wife and sit outside in the chair. And he says every store has one, except for this one, Zappa, that you listen. I know we're men, so we know. If we've gone shopping with our wives, we know what the drill is. I did. That was the first thing I looked for. When my wife walks into this place, when we're walking on the street, and my wife stops and she leans back and looks at the store, I know she's going in. The first thing I look at, I let her go in first so that when she's ahead of me, I eyeball the left and right to see where the chair is that I could sit in. There were no chairs. Wise proprietor. There was no place for me to sit, so I had to stand around like a knucklehead. By the way, just so you know, I don't know if you're like this, but I'm definitely like this. I hate going into Victoria's Secret with my wife, because my wife would go, oh, I need to get a bra or something along that line. I hate standing in Victoria's Secret, okay?
Yeah, I don't know why you go in there.
I don't know.
Stand on the outside.
Exactly, see? But no, she makes me go in because I'm either holding the bag or I'm holding something, so she makes me go in. I feel like an absolute creep in there. I'm like, I don't want to be around women's undergarments. This is weird. And she'll just like, oh, just stand there. I'm like, why do you make me stand in here? And I'm like one of very few. Other guys have no problem walking in, and I always think those are weirdos. But she makes me do it. I always look for the chair. I want to be nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. I just can't. It's annoying and weird. Craig says, for every $500 his daughter spends, let me get to that. I'm sorry. For every $500 his daughter spends, his son-in-law buys a new gun. Marriage made in heaven. Craig says that the Victoria's Secret is too many distractions. When I'm in there, I put my eyes straight down. I look at my feet. I don't want to look at anything. I don't want to look at bras. I don't want to look at panties, nothing. I don't want to look at the women walking by. I look at my feet every time. Let's get another check of traffic and weather with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Mark, did your wife ever make you go into like Victoria's Secrets or any of those undergarment stores?
No. But, a good panty raid every now and then is pretty cool.
That's it. I'm done.
Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now and you're on the southbound side of I-91, a little slow traffic, 33 down to 32 A and B, and again down by exit 28. Slowing again 19 to 17 in Meriden. Northbound 91's okay. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. If you're traveling westbound 84, you're slowing approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, just a little slow, 46 down to the Bulkley. And again out by the 384 interchange. 2 westbound slowing from 1D up to the 84 West Merge. Both sides of 9 a little heavy at the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. Westbound 84 slowing 26 in Cheshire up to exit 22 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound's a little slow by 18. And again, as you move down by the 691 interchange, heading down in toward New Haven. Southbound Parkway, a little sluggish, 60 into the West Rock. 95 southbound delays 46, down to 43 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
A thunderstorm in spots this evening, otherwise mostly cloudy. The low down to 68. Relief from the extreme heat for the rest of the week. Cloudy with the area on Thursday.
It's just in.
73 for us. A shower in spots.
Thursday. I just dropped against Diddy right before the closing arguments.
And Friday, cloudy.
Attempted kidnapping, attempted arson,
warm,
baiting sex, trafficking.
Storm in parts of the area.
I'm sorry, what happened?
All those charges have been dropped.
Monday, a humid day with a shower in spots.
No way.
Cloudy in the morning, mix of clouds.
Yes, sir.
Afternoon, the high up to 82.
Hold on, let me grab them.
On Sunday, right now, it is 88 in New London with a bit of a breeze off the water. 99 in New Haven, 91 in Bridgeport, 96 for Bristol, and 93 in Hartford with the 68-degree dew point. The heat index, 97 in Hartford right now. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Most of us like to be out in the sun.
Warm.
Sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with a sun protection factor, or SPF, of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. UVA rays age the skin, UVB rays burn, and both cause cancer. But the perfect sunscreen doesn't count if you use it wrong. Don't need sunscreen on a cloudy day? Wrong. 80% of UV rays still get through the haze. Only use sunscreen at the beach? Nope. Anytime you're outside, UV rays attack the skin, so you need protection. And you have to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equals in the sun.
Oh.
Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
So apparently, while we were here chatting, this coming from CNN, prosecutors in the Sean Diddy Combs case are no longer pursuing attempted arson and attempted kidnapping theories. Prosecutors in the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking and racketeering case informed the judge that they will no longer pursue these theories, that the hip-hop mogul was involved in attempting arson and attempting kidnapping, according to a letter submitted to the court. Those two alleged acts were included in the government's racketeering conspiracy charge, which is count 1 in the indictment against Combs. The government is no longer planning to proceed with these theories of liability, so instructions are no longer necessary. Prosecutors wrote in the letter to Judge Arun Subramanian. That's an interesting name.
That's his real name?
Yeah, Arun Subramanian. Subramanian, yes. It reminds me of like Submariner for those of you who do Marvel Comics. Attorneys are meeting with Judge Subramanian Wednesday afternoon to discuss jury instructions. Look, I got to be honest with you. I thought that we were going to hear a whole bunch of trafficking stuff. Maybe I didn't really pay attention to the case on that level.
No, there was none.
There was none, right? There was no conversation about it. So I don't think he's going to be found guilty on a lot of these things. I really think that much of this is to be made to embarrass him and to destroy his ability to make money or to perform or, to have status.
I don't think it's going to do that, though.
Do you think he's going to come out sort of not vilified, celebrated on the other end? Like people are going to say it was like he was wrongfully charged?
People already saying that.
Really?
Yeah, like.
Huh.
Yeah, that people already in a lot of forums and comments.
Yeah, sure.
They're just saying how they don't see the RICO charge. Where's the RICO charge coming from? So
yeah, there may be. He could be at the end of the day. He could be taught. He could be sort of viewed as a martyr in some way, a victim. Because I remember when the prosecutors played, when the defense played the audio of Cassie threatening one of the male prostitutes, threatening to harm him.
Yep.
I remember on X and on TikTok, there were a lot of people who were going after Cassie saying, oh, not so innocent. A lot of that was also the responses to text messages between them where she seemed to be very much
she was definitely a part of it.
Yeah.
A lot of his relationship partners were a part of that whole situation.
Yeah.
I believe J-Lo was a part of it too.
Yeah.
But they just got out at a certain time.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like the way that it was presented, like she was making him, he was forcing her to stay there. It seemed like she was able to go free and have another relationship, then come back when she was tired of that relationship and then leave.
Odd.
I was like, that's if somebody's holding you hostage, they're not letting you just go off and have a whole nother relationship. So I didn't get that.
Yeah, the Kid Cudi thing was one of those things where, he appeared to be like a jealous boyfriend, kind of, making the threats. As Kid Cudi says, he stood in the window like a super villain. Which I thought
That's funny.
It was hilarious when I heard that. The way Kid Cudi described it, I'm like, dude, talk about dramatic. But talking about setting his car on fire, and now that charge has been dropped. I thought all of that was interesting. It feels like that this is kind of another OJ. That there'll be a public admonishment to some degree, but he'll recover in some way. That the audience or his fans in some way will be kind of forgiving.
I think OJ was a little worse though. It's like that's a double murder.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like baby oil and it's like a
initiations
lot of,
and baby
exactly.
oils. This is a murder, double murder.
Did I ever tell this story? I know I told this story, but I guess it's only right now that I can tell it. And I always say there are two reasons that you should tell a story where you're dropping names or telling what can only be described as like a secret or a private conversation that you've had. There's only two reasons why you should ever say that. One, the person has passed away. And the other reason is if you're telling somebody openly, I'm telling this secret. If you got a problem, come and see me. Right? So, and that's what I believe. Like, if you really want to tell some dirt on someone, I believe that you should say it. Like, if you really want to see somebody on some throwing hands, a fight, for those of you who don't understand. If you are looking to do that, then you tell something you're not supposed to or something that's in secrecy. I'm going to make a third rule for this particular outing, if you will. So there was a young lady who I used to work with back in the 90s. This is before I ever got into radio. It was somewhere in and around 95, 96, whatever the case may have been. And the only reason why I tell this story was because I've always known it, and I haven't told this story until maybe this last year. So Jennifer and I were co-workers, and I wouldn't say intimate, we made out a few times, right? So we kind of hung out together. We went to bars together, and we would fool around whenever she was having a problem with her boyfriend. I was kind of her side piece, so to speak. But in getting to know her, eventually you end up dropping a name or two of somebody that you've been introduced to. So I told her stories about Willem Dafoe. I told her a story about George Michael when I first got married. And then she turned around and she says, well, I used to date somebody who was kind of famous. And I'm just, well, come on, I told you, you tell me. So she says, okay, I dated Puffy for a little while. I was like, oh, whoa, what was that like? And so she goes, it was a little weird. So I went, really? She goes, yeah, it was a little weird. And I was like, well, weird in what way? So because it's a family show, I'm going to put it as delicate. I'm going to try to go as PG-13 as I possibly can. So she said whenever they were intimate, Diddy always had to have somebody else in the room, is the way that she described it. And in close proximity, she said, like right there. And she did not disclose whether or not there was anything else like going on, but that was the way she described it. And so as I started to hear these stories as they were coming out in these lawsuits and all this other stuff, like the one by Little Rod, who's this producer, listening to these stories, all of a sudden, as I'm paying attention, one very constant theme kept coming up. And that was this idea that Diddy was extremely voyeuristic, which no one is disputing as far as his defense team is saying that, look, he's a little out there. Freaky is what they call it. So, yeah, I always knew that, and I knew that back in 95, 96. I thought that was interesting. So now that people are coming out there saying that he's, I guess, curious, as it were, and that's fine. Whatever Diddy's things are, I don't care. That's not the story. What his proclivities are in the bedroom, none of my business, don't care. I don't even judge the dude. That's fine. If he's into guys, whatever. If he's into girls, whatever. He's into both of them, whatever. Don't care. The only interest in this story was whether or not he was using his power to manipulate and whether or not he was using it to intimidate, threaten. The illegal stuff was the issue. And I'm listening to these stories and these reports, and Roland, from what you're saying, that hasn't really been been brought to bear, has it?
No, it's just more of it's just been a lot of what he's doing at the
freaky
parties.
Stuff. Yeah.
It's just his style of, it may be a little outlandish, but that's or borderline, right on a line
Yes.
of crossing the line, of
Yeah.
going too far. But
I mean,
other than that,
drugged up, alcohol-fueled sex romps
yeah,
can be a little bit,
that lasts for
cautionary.
days.
Yeah, there's some caution in all of that. I'll tell you, one of the things that bothered me was like these deals with finding out that there were like IVs that were showing up at the house.
This is
So,
crazy.
Like, that's like if you're doing something that involves medical attention, like that, I would say to me, that's the most sordid part about all of this.
But people were participating in that and
Yeah.
and going for days. Oh, what's her name? Diana Ross' daughter.
Tracy Ellis Ross.
Yeah, she was a part of that.
Really? Is she being
Yeah.
implicated in this?
And she's not, but I know for
Oh, really?
just, I would say 95%. I'm 95% certain she was a part of those parties.
Oh, damn. I hear Oprah's finally spoke up. She says she's never been to a puffy party. But I think that's an interesting way she phrased it. She's saying, I've never been to a puffy party. Well,
Not a Diddy party.
Yes. She said, I've never been to a puffy party. My response to that was, he hasn't been called puffy since 2003. Did you go to a Diddy party? That's a bigger question. So anyway,
Yeah.
I just thought I just thought all of that was crazy. But like I said, we'll see what happens. I'm getting the impression he's going to be acquitted. I have this strange feeling they just smeared his name. He's going to get acquitted.
How much money you think was made off of this whole trial for others?
Oh, for others? Oh, people millions. TMZ's making a killing.
Yeah.
TMZ's got 3 specials. I was on my streaming service. I think I was on Tubi. There were 3 different documentaries that are following the trial in real time on Tubi. Another one on not on Netflix. There's another a streaming service that I think I had or I downloaded. ABC has got a series that's going on. So everybody's making some sort of advertising dollars on it. It's got to be millions.
Yeah.
It's got to be millions.
So I think that was more the draw than anything.
Indeed. Anyway, let me get this Jasmine Crockett news out here. As promised, Jasmine Crockett, she dropped her bid to become the Democrats' next ranking member on the House Oversight Committee after finishing dead last on a Monday night steering vote. Now, what they do is Democrats are supposed to get together and have a vote to find out who is going to be the ranking member on a committee. This one being the Oversight Committee, the most important of them all. I think Jim Jordan is the head of it, if not, what's his name? Is it Kramer? I think it's Kramer. Anyway, so as everyone's been talking, Jasmine Crockett is supposed to be the leader of the party. Due to polling numbers, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez with, some 12%, coming up right behind her has either been, what's her name? Kamala Harris, if not Jasmine Crockett, with like 8 or 9 points, even though the polling numbers are really, really low. Joy Reid was on the Breakfast Club talking about that according to the people, Jasmine Crockett is the clear leader.
In fascism, you can't be orderly because the other side is messy. And Donald Trump stays messy. Everything he does is random, but it also exudes power. And in the case of Jasmine Crockett, a rational party facing actual fascism would say, who are our most effective voices? Who do the people listen to? Who do the people trust? Who do the people want to hear from? If it's Jasmine Crockett, we don't care who's in line.
That's right.
She's about to be the leader. We're going to put her as the head of whatever this committee is, make her the head of oversight, and put her on TV every day. But that isn't what Democrats do because they're orderly. And orderly is insufficient in the face of fascism.
Well, there were 150 votes, but before those 150 votes are cast, Democrats have to decide who is going to be that individual. So they ran a couple of Democrats on this, in this. Here are some of them. One of them, of course, was Robert Garcia. Robert Garcia, you might remember, was one of the people who, after Chris Van Hollen, the senator of Maryland, went to El Salvador. Yeah, Representative Garcia, he was the second group of people to go to El Salvador to get Obrego Garcia out there. Well, he ended up winning the vote. He got 33 of the votes. Representative Stephen Lynch, Democrat of Massachusetts, he came in second with 15 votes. Representative Kwasi Mfume, Democrat of Maryland, he got 8 votes in the third place. Jasmine Crockett got 6 votes. 6 votes out of all the Democrats. He was absolutely, or she was absolutely trounced and dropped out immediately. So whatever people like Joy Reid are saying, and anyone else for that matter, that the future of the party is Jasmine Crockett, hey, that's the Democrats. They're never going to allow her to do it. They know what the sound bites are. And I'll even go so far as to say this. If you listen to my Blacktivists in the chat room who are here on every Thursday for Negro Nonsense, they get mad every time I rip Jasmine Crockett. Not because I rag on Jasmine Crockett, because they cannot dispute she is embarrassing and cringeworthy at times, because they never defend what she says. They only criticize the fact that I criticize her. Now, if they could defend her, they would, but they can't. She is cringe-worthy. Every time Jasmine Crockett ends up in the news, black people turn the channel because she won't shut up. And she does. She embarrasses them. It's not. I don't know what to say. Perhaps you should get a handle on your girl. Maybe send her a note. Say, Jasmine, we need you to be a little more professional, okay? We've had an African-American president, okay? We're going to need you to step it up. You can't be cursing everywhere you go, sounding like Sister Girl, rubbernecking, wearing a shoddy weave with, your forehead all the way at the top of your face. Just showing a lot of forehead there. Just a lot of forehead. She's showing a lot of forehead. Have you ever seen her with the weave, dude? Her hairline is on the top of her head.
I don't pay attention to
You gotta see her, dude. She's got her forehead stops all the way at the top of her head. It's absolutely insane. She's got to do something about that. Got to get up out of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. So, Patrick, we love you. We miss you. Remember that panic is not planning. So plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the Radio. You have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow, and we'll see you back here next time. Jason Catarina has got your weather. John Silva's with news, and Mark Christopher is getting you home in this heat. It's about to end. He's in the BPS Traffic Center. Good night, Mark. See you mañana.
She should be in a remake of Miami Vice. She could be the Crockett. Is she a representative or a social media influencer?
I think
What's
she's
her deal?
A social media influencer indeed. Absolutely. That she is. Thank you, Mark.
When you see her talking, it's like, whoa, what's going on here?
Exactly.
Hey, if you're heading into Hartford, Reese, have a good night. Southbound 91's a little slow.
All right, good sir.
32 A and B in Hartford, again down by exit 28. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Wind.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Yeah,
westbound
absolutely.
side of 84, a little tight, approaching the Bulkley Bridge.
See you tomorrow. It's my Friday.
By exit 45, Flatbush Avenue 80.
Yeah!
In the tunnel. Looks real good. 291 through 84. 2 westbound's a little slow.
Oh, baby. All right. Good night. Good night, Richard. Good night, Craig. Now is not her time, Donald. Couldn't agree more. White Mike, that's certainly the narrative of those who feel preference for white applicants will be eliminated. I don't even know I don't even want to get in the middle of that argument. All right, time for me to go. Got to get up out of here. 6 o'clock. Oh, I think 6 o'clock. Absolutely. All right, you guys be good. I love you. Thank you for the lively debate and the great comments. You guys have absolutely, I don't think I could do it without you. You guys are like contributing to the show. I consider you contributors. So, and I love you to death. So thank you as always for giving me something to bounce off of back and forth, with the exception of, more or less than with the phones as well. I'm articulating that poorly. I love you guys. All right, I'll see you mañana.